NASCAR's playoffs roll into Kansas, but this isn't just another race. Win today, and you are racing for the championship. 8 drivers have a shot today in America's heartland.
He's going to win in Kansas.
Oh, yeah!
I didn't plan on the wall slowing me down that much.
I've always been one of his biggest fans. Certainly not anymore.
Just got to give your best effort all the time and never give up.
Kansas' chances may have just gone up in smoke. Martin Truex Jr. wins.
Yes, Kansas! Harvick around the outside for the lead! Yeah, boys, how about that?
The statement win for Chase Elliott.
One more round to go, yes!
Career win number 30.
Way to never give up. Oh, boy, where do you want to go and win next?
Welcome to Countdown to Green, presented by Sonic. 40 drivers are in today's race. 8 are eligible for the championship, and this race marks the start of the final elimination round. The driver that wins the next 3 events moves into the title bout to compete for that trophy. Hello and welcome into our NBC Sports studios in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm socially distanced from Kyle Petty and Hall of Famer Dale Jarrett, but we are all in agreement that this race, Dale, hands out a little something extra.
Yes, it sure does, Krista. And as you mentioned, a win today moves you on into the championship round, and obviously an opportunity to win a championship in Phoenix in just 3 weeks. So what are you willing to do as a driver in that situation to make this happen? And as I was watching the Xfinity race yesterday, which was very exciting, it made me realize how highly entertaining it can be when drivers' enthusiasm overrides their intelligence. So who might today combine their talent and that enthusiasm and their intelligence to get that golden ticket to race for a championship?
It is a golden ticket, as Dale said, that they're racing for. And a win today solves a lot of problems over the next couple of weeks. But a bad day today creates havoc inside your brain, inside that race team. And for the next couple of weeks, knowing that your time is running out with only 2 races to go past this one, to get to that final race in Phoenix is a tough road, man.
Should we ask what's inside your brain, Kyle? Just kidding, we don't have time for that. The Cup Series first visit to Kansas this year came on a Thursday night in July. It's going to be much colder this time around. We're hearing it's the coldest Kansas race in 5 years, with temperatures in the 40s. 3 of the 8 playoff drivers are in their 40s. All 3 are former champs. They are Martin Truex Jr., Kurt Busch, and Kevin Harvick. But here's what's on the menu presented by Sonic. Harvick still has a big lead in points as the round of 8 begins today. Kansas, Texas, and Martinsville are the tracks. 3 chances to race your way in. There are actually 5 past champions in the playoff field. The ones I haven't mentioned include Penske teammates Brad Keselowski and Joey Logano. Kurt Busch is in that group too, but he's never made the championship 4 in this playoff format, along with Chase Elliott and Alex Bowman. So as you're looking at the names, who's the only playoff driver I haven't mentioned? It's Denny Hamlin. He's never won the title, but he has been in the title for a ton. He's also the most recent Kansas winner. In fact, he's won the last 2 races there with 3 wins total. Kevin Harvick also has 3 wins. They have been the 2 to beat at nearly every track this season.
We're having a fantastic year. I just feel like I'm in my wheelhouse right now.
Denny Hamlin gets the nod.
To be a championship driver, have to have confidence.
Free to fight! I don't even know how we did that.
They have done it again here. Great season continues for Denny Hamlin.
Nobody's been able to touch the closer.
9 wins in 2020 for Kevin Harvick.
Hell yeah, boys! Awesome. Oh yeah. Great job. Awesome job.
The 2 most dominant drivers of the 2020 campaign.
Hell yeah.
There's a common consensus in the Cup Series garage that the car that can be the most trimmed out week in, week out is the 4 car of Kevin Harvick. So, on a day that's 42 degrees, overcast, means there's a lot of grip out there. Did Mother Nature just grant you guys a great day for the 4 car of Kevin Harvick?
Well, I mean, I hope so for our Jimmy John's Ford Mustang. It's definitely something that we've been, able to figure out. And on a day like today, it's a little bit of an unknown because we haven't raced this tire here before, but in everything that we saw at Vegas with more grip and a little less fall off. Hopefully that's a good thing for us.
You have a lot of playoff points, 67 coming into this round. How important would it be to go get a win here or at Texas when we look at Martinsville looming there before Phoenix?
Yeah, I think anytime you can put yourself in a position that you can control your own destiny by winning a race, you're in much better hands, because you just, everybody steps up so hard at this time of season, and you just know that any of those 8 guys can win at any given point. So the sooner the better, but you have to claw for every point that you can get in every moment of the race, whether you're stage points or coming back from a penalty, whatever the case may be, and get all you can and just see where it falls.
With 9 wins on the season, Marty, the next one could be one of the most important for Kevin.
Well, Parker, I hope you're bundled up like Denny Hamlin and I are, because it's freezing here in Kansas today. When they were here in July, 90 degrees. Today it's going to be in the 40s, Denny. So how much of a game changer is just the weather going to be this afternoon?
Yeah, it'd definitely be different. You better made adjustments for sure. But Chris and this whole FedEx team does a great job of making adjustments for stuff like this. So I'm optimistic. We'll see how it all turns out. But this is mile and a half have been actually really strong for us this year. So pretty much looking forward to it, and hopefully we got this thing dialed in.
Today is the first day you can punch your ticket to the championship 4. So does that make this the most important race of the playoffs so far, Denny?
To this point, yeah, and then next week will be, and the next week will be if you don't win. So each week is equally important. We're going to do our best to stay up front all day and try to get as many points as we can and lean on that if we need to. If not, let's get a win and just do it the easy way.
Krista, even though it's cold, you can feel the intensity here on the playoff grid. Denny's won the last 2 Kansas races. If he can make it 3 in a row, he will be in the championship 4.
Thanks, Marty. And it sounds like that weather is going to continue to be a story today. Kyle, I talked about Denny's Kansas numbers. You heard Marty talk about him there. He's one of the most interesting stories in the playoffs because he has so much success but doesn't have the title. Is this his year?
You know what? We've been hearing that since 2010. Is this Denny Hamlin's year? And all but maybe 1 or 2 of those years seem to be his year. This year, he is one of the dominant 2. He has been one of the dominant 3. For Denny to make it his year, he has to be the dominant 1.
Yeah, and these 2 drivers that we just heard from have won half the races this year. It's just incredible the seasons they're having. But I actually believe this is more important for Denny Hamlin to get this win out of the way, because every year it seems he's battling right down to that last race. You remember Phoenix last year. He had to go win just to be a part of the championship 4, which was going to be at Homestead. I think he expends so much mentally that by the time he gets to that championship race, he's almost overworked mentally. So I think today could help him in his battle for that championship.
All right, we will soon find out. And that Harvick versus Hamlin battle is going to continue to be good in the coming weeks. Coming up, they are just 1 win away from making it further in the playoffs than ever before. Can Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman, and Kurt Busch finally break through? What do the grid and the gridiron have in common? Past Super Bowl champion Bernard Pollard is going to let us know. Plus, coming up, hear from more of the round of 8 contenders and predictions. It's coming up as we get you ready for today's race. Countdown to Green is brought to you by Sonic. This is how we Sonic. And by Progressive. Stay on track with great rates at progressive.com. Are you ready to win $25,000? Who isn't? The free-to-play Finish Line app is here to make that happen with expert analysis and live in-race picks. Your racing experience will hit the jackpot. Go to your Apple Store or Google Play and download the Finish Line app today. Toyota and TRD put physical training and conditioning at the forefront of driver development at the Toyota Performance Center in North Carolina. Well, earlier this week, our own Rutledge Wood joined Harrison Burton at the facility to see how he would fare on Team Toyota.
Today I'm here at the Toyota Performance Center with Harrison Burton and Coach Caitlin, and I'm going to get an understanding of how TRD and their driver development program uses health and fitness in everything they do. We're going to start at 6 miles an hour. This may surprise you, I don't run a lot.
Keep going, now your abs on really good. Keep those abs on, breathing through your nose.
Harrison really makes it look more fluid. Should it feel like I'm tearing my underarm? Good.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with training, you have injury prevention, you have endurance. Being loose is kind of part of that injury prevention.
The thermostat is set on 115. That's like Phoenix in the shade. It's so hot.
The road to getting better, buddy.
So excited. Here we go. Son of a biscuit, that is so cold. How am I gonna, oh, there's no way. Hello, darling.
It looks like you're not really cold enough, man, so we're gonna go ahead and dump that right there.
Ice feels like little razor blades.
There you go.
I think that's how Marty, Parker, and Dave feel in Kansas. Rutledge Wood is with us today, but he is not alone. Bernard Pollard enjoyed a 9-year career in the NFL. He earned a Super Bowl ring with the Baltimore Ravens and status as one of the league's hardest hitters. Now he's enjoying the rush of racing as a fan, and he is hanging out with Rut today. Hey, Rutledge.
Oh, Krista, this is so exciting. Bernard Pollard Jr. is here with me, a.k.a. Crush Boy 31. So many NASCAR fans have seen you this year, man. Your Friday Night Lights were on the football field, but this year, you know, NASCAR really came into your life, iRacing too. What was it that really got you to fall in love with this sport?
I just think, first of all, thanks for having me. But I think, you know, when you look at the strategy, when you look at the communication, when you look at the competition from the drivers to the crew chiefs to the spotters, I mean, the pit crews, just watching it, I'm still blown away at you watch these guys go back and forth and then they can fight. And I mean, and then it's aired. And I'm like, oh, this is all me right here. I'm all in.
I know you are. This is going to be so fun. We're going to be dipping in and out of the race today. But, you know, for somebody that understands what competition feels like, what is in the minds today of those athletes before they get in the car, knowing that only 8 of them have this shot?
Well, it's so in one way it's crazy because I can understand where some of them come from, but at the same time it's a little different because NASCAR, you got the drivers, the 8 drivers that are in, and then you got other drivers that are out there. So these 8 drivers that are in, they're focused. Every driver is focused. They're ready to go. But I think when you look at it, I'm looking at it like, okay, hold on. I'm in this thing with somebody who else is racing, and so they can do something that affect my driving and that can affect the outcome of my day. So these guys just got to stick to the game plan, understand, trust the process, and just go do what they've been doing and burn freaking rubber.
That's it, buddy. I'm so excited you're going to be with us, Krista. This might be my most exciting day of work not at the track ever. I'm pumped.
There's a whole lot of energy going on there today. We're going to enjoy checking in with the two of you throughout the race. We talked about Harvick and Hamlin. No question, 2 of the favorites in the field. Who else could land a spot in the Phoenix 4? I'm looking at Martin Truex Jr. He has 2 Kansas wins. He won the title in 2017. But if Martin gets it done today, it's going to come the hard way because he had to give up his 5th place starting position, failing pre-race inspection. He is going to start in the back, so he has a long drive there at the Kansas racetrack.
All right, I'm going over to Team Penske and Brad Keselowski, who has 35 points in the bank to kind of work with, but he finished 2nd here back in July. He also has a couple of wins at Kansas, and this is a champion that understands what today is about, being as patiently aggressive as he needs to be and either getting that great finish or a victory.
All right, I'm going to stay in the Penske camp with Joey Logano, my friend. I just wanted to throw that out. I think this is a big day for he and Paul. In the last 10-mile-and-a-half racetracks that we've run, he's only averaged a 13th place finish. He's got to have a better day today. If they can win here, they can win at Phoenix. Believe me, they can win.
Well, the pictures from Kansas, the visuals, it looks so cold. That's going to be a story. For the last 3 seasons, Chase Elliott's title hopes have ended here in the round of 8. There's a reason today could be his day. We'll tell you that when we come back. Treat yourself with the Trick or Treat Blast. Real vanilla or chocolatey vanilla ice cream blended and topped with Snickers, mini M&Ms, and Oreo cookie pieces. The perfect treat before you trick or treat, only for a limited time at Sonic. Here are today's odds to win from PointsBet Sportsbook, focusing on 2 drivers who've never made the championship race. Chase Elliott is at plus 625. Kurt Busch could be worth a big payday at plus 2,500. Let's hear from them both, starting with Chase. He's with Dave Burns.
He sure is, Krista, and starts just above the cut line, which is a good place to be. What kind of opportunity does Kansas present to you today?
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for us. You know, this has been a tough round for us over the years. Certainly happy to make it the round of 8, but always wanting more and
don't know what the points game is going to be like, but we do know a win gets you to Phoenix. So that's where we're at right now, and that's our goal. And try to put as much pressure on as we can to perform. This is a important round, and we know these next 3 races there's really no room for error. So trying to win races, and you got to win races to have a chance at the last one anyway.
That's right. He put the pressure on him last week with a Roval win. Try to do the same today at Kansas, Marty.
Well, Dave, in the last round, Kurt Busch won the first race of that round, trying to do the same here today and advance to the championship 4. And Kurt, on a day when there's so many unknowns with the weather being crazy like it is, how much will experience be a factor today?
Well, our team is leaning on every ounce of all the information that we can gather. And, experience helps, but it's right now. It's 2020, and you have to adapt. And I feel real proud to drive this car for these guys right now. Chip Ganassi Racing, all the engineers, Hendrick Engines, Chevrolet, everybody has chipped in to get us to this point. This is the Elite 8, and I'm real proud of everybody, and we'll give it our best. We just got to stay smooth and stay sharp and drive our Monster Energy Chevy right to that limit all day.
Yeah, Kurt and the Monster Energy car will start 3rd today, DJ. That's a nice view of the green flag.
Yeah, just where you want to be, and he won the last mile-and-a-half race that we had back at Las Vegas to get into this round. So could he be that upset today and get things done? I think this weather is playing into the hands of all the Chevy drivers. Give them a little bit more grip, and have a good day.
Yeah, do not underestimate these 2 guys plus Alex Bowman in these Chevys. I'm telling you, I've underestimated them all year in my fantasy league to my detriment. So do not underestimate these guys.
Kurt looks like an ice fisherman. He is ready to go. Forget about over-the-counter sleep aids. 8 drivers have a chance today to get the best sleep of their lives, because a win today means no stress for the next 2 races. Who advances to the Phoenix 4 with a win today in Kansas? The answer is only 267 laps away. We return with NASCAR on NBC Racing from Kansas. Countdown to Green is brought to you by Sonic. This is how we Sonic. And by Progressive, celebrating 8 years of donating cars to veterans in need.
You're watching Countdown to Green, presented by Sonic from a blustery Kansas Speedway. We'll take a look at the playoff leaderboard. Points have been reset to 4,000 and playoff points added to that. Again, a reminder, you win and you advance to that championship 4, and there is one guaranteed spot that will advance on points. Hello, everyone. Alongside crew chief Steve Letarte, Rick Allen with you. And Steve, it seems as though Kansas Speedway has become very unpredictable.
Yeah, Rick, while mile-and-a-half tracks make up the majority of the NASCAR schedule, this mile-and-a-half at Kansas Speedway has seen some of the most violent accidents. And that will be the challenge for these playoff competitors. Looking back at 2017, as I mentioned, big accidents, many cars, heavy hits. These drivers are going to have to try to navigate this as they try to find the points and perhaps the survival to advance to Phoenix. Everybody knows a win and you're in, but I really think when you look back to July and this huge hit right here for Priest, Rick, perhaps the drivers should be thinking about survival first, points second.
All right, let's bring in the drivers now. We've got Jeff Burton, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Dale, I'll start with you. Is there a favorite here at Kansas?
Well, at Kansas, I think the favorite might be Denny Hamlin. He's got 54 bonus points, and he's won the last 2 races here. Also, Kevin Harvick, I think the weather plays into his hands today. He has 67 bonus points, so he's on cruise control all the way to Phoenix. One of the standouts, though, in this playoffs is Chase Elliott. He has the best average running finish of any driver in the playoffs. I think he's shaping up well, peaking at the right time to go on into the championship final round.
Yeah, there's 5 other drivers. It could be a great battle between those 5. A lot of people talk about Brad Keselowski and Martin Truex Jr. can easily go to the Final 4. But think about this. Brad's win at Richmond is his only top 5 since August. Martin Truex Jr., 1 win in 2020. He had 6 at this point last year. The guy that I've been watching, though, quietly, Alex Bowman. He has been a top 4 driver in these playoffs, and he could move along with a good, solid race today.
Everybody is bundled up here at Kansas. It is cold, but ceremonies will get us underway when we come back.
The round 8 about to get underway at Kansas. But to get things kicked off, let's go trackside for ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as the Fort Leavenworth Sergeant Audie Murphy Club Color Guard presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Father Daniel Weeger from Parochial Vicar St. Michael the Archangel Catholic Parish offers today's invocation.
Heavenly Father, we thank you and praise you for this wonderful day in Kansas City. We pray for ourselves and our whole nation, that we may be steadfast in our pursuit of unity, justice, and love. We ask for your blessings and comforts upon all those affected by the pandemic in these uncertain times. And we pray especially today for the drivers, their teams, the officials, and all here present. We ask for safety and the success of the Hollywood Casino 400, that we might give you greater glory and honor in all that we do. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, stationed at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, U.S. Army Specialist Rihanna Lloyd.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
The first spot in the championship 4 is up for grabs. It's only 267 laps, 400 miles away for one of the playoff drivers.
We concentrate every week as if it's the most important one.
You know how aggressive this is going to be. You do you. Let's get it done.
Denny Hamlin trying to hold off Chase Elliott.
Where do you want to go on next? Just you and him, 15 out the back. All clear. New leader, the 11.
We can win any given week. This team's really hitting on all cylinders right now.
What a season it is turning out to be for Denny Hamlin.
You can't burn it down.
Denny's won the last 2 here at Kansas. No one has ever won 3 in a row at this racetrack. Denny tried to make history there. It's NASCAR Cup Series playoffs from Kansas Speedway. This telecast presented by Coca-Cola. Let's go to pit road and Dave Burns.
Rick, if you grew up in Michigan, as I did, and as Brad Keselowski, driver of the 2-car, did, there's a little something at the beginning of the season called the season opener on the short tracks, and it's usually about this cold. Brad Keselowski should feel very at home here today in Kansas, also at this type of racetrack where he's won 14 times in his career. A W would be a great way to kick off the season opener for the round of 8, Marty.
Dave, I'll take over here. Parker, I'm here with Martin Truex Jr., who comes in this seeded 6th, off the virtue of some not great results, but do not worry. James Paul and Martin both told me our speed is there, our execution is there. We're just lacking results, and they have a lot of confidence coming to this race because James told me this car is a culmination of everything they have learned throughout the year. This is the best car they have brought all year, Marty.
Parker, if you ask Kurt Busch and his race team, they'll say this weekend here at Kansas and next week at Texas are their best chances to advance to the championship 4. And Kurt told me, quote, I might as well keep the box checking coming. He got his first ever win at his home track in Vegas earlier in the playoffs. He told me, I've never won at Kansas. Not a better day to get that checked off the list as well than winning and advancing to the championship 4, Rick.
Thanks, Marty. Steve, it's cold. What are the crew chiefs doing right now looking forward to a cold race day?
Well, the advantage is that the engines will be able to have more tape, work at top performance. The other advantage is a lot of grip for the tires, but all the competitors have that. So did you guess right? Did you set up right? You're going to have to make adjustments quick. This weather, so much different than we've ever seen.
Well, you mentioned engines. Let's get them fired up. Let's go trackside for the command.
And now for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome Commanding General, U.S. Army Combined Arms Center and Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, Lieutenant General James Rainey.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of all the men and women of your United States Army, and especially those soldiers in harm's way right now, guaranteeing our freedom, I am honored to say, drivers, start your engines.
We're ready. Right there's command. Yeah.
Drivers, they're strapped into their offices now, about ready to go to work here at Kansas and maybe punch a ticket to the championship 4.
There's only so many years in your life you get to run for a championship. So just try to enjoy the moment.
Accept it, embrace the challenge, and go after it.
I love the pressure that it brings. Yes, it's stressful. Yes, you can't sleep much, but you are able to find things inside of you that you didn't know was there. And I love that.
The drivers who have been most successful over the years really perform in tough situations. This is going to bring out a tough situation.
To be a championship driver, you have to have confidence.
Passion to win and passion to overcome obstacles and adversity. That's what separates champions.
We have an opportunity to do something special, do something great. People would kill for that opportunity.
I think the coolest thing about winning a championship is you have this feeling of being at the top of the world. It's the greatest feeling, can't explain it.
The biggest thing is there's a drive to be great, not just okay. And I think wanting to be the best.
And here is the starting grid today, brought to you by Coca-Cola. And we're going to let
Chase
the
Elliott,
playoff
Dawsonville,
drivers
Georgia.
introduce themselves.
Joey Logano, Middletown, Connecticut.
Kurt Busch, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Kevin Harvick, Bakersfield, California.
Martin Truex Jr., Mayetta, New Jersey.
Alex Bowman, Tucson, Arizona.
Denny Hamlin, Chesterfield, Virginia.
Brad Keselowski, Rochester Hills, Michigan.
And we take a look a little bit further back in the field here, guys that have been eliminated from the playoffs, Blaney, Byron. But again, Steve, a big point of I think everybody needs to understand is the playoff drivers aren't the only ones on the racetrack. There are still 32 other drivers out there trying to win this race here at Kansas.
Oh, trying to win, trying to figure out what they're doing next season. So many conversations. Think about Kyle Busch in Road 10, winless in 2020. Never in his career has he gone winless. I know he's out of the playoffs, but he's trying to get that win. As we look a little bit farther back, Poole, Sorensen, Balicki, Fincham back in Road 20.
That's all the way through the field. As the car's getting ready to roll off of pit road, let's take a look at some of the cameras that we'll be riding along with.
We are right here, we're on board with the 22 of Joey Logano. He has the Coca-Cola camera. Kurt Busch, playoff driver with the Advent Health onboard camera.
Kevin Harvick, a lot of people think he's the favorite today. Ford Performance camera. Clint Boyer, hometown race. DeKalb bringing us these shots. Ryan Newman getting ready to roll off with his Coca-Cola cam.
And we want to see if we can dial up Joey Logano. Junior, you got him on the radio?
Hey, Joey Logano, it's Dale Jr. in the booth. You got us?
I got you. What's up?
Hey, man, just wanted to know, this is a fun racetrack, but it's not without its challenges. What are some of the toughest things about Kansas?
The restart, for one thing, is just going to be absolutely crazy. You know, going back and looking at everything for the last couple of years, it doesn't seem like it's consistent at all. It seems like sometimes the top's good, the bottom's good, middle works, sometimes it doesn't. Just a wide racetrack and not much tire wear, so a lot of aggressive racing.
All right, man, it's the coldest race we've had in years, so how will that temperature affect the track surface?
At least I'll be nice in here. It might be cold for the guys, but you know, I think just when the track steps down, like this is going to be a lot of on throttle time. You know, you have a lot of grip, you got a lot of power, a lot of downforce, and I think it just puts on aggressive racing at this racetrack.
Well, we appreciate you talking to us, buddy. Have a great race.
All right, thanks, man. Have a good one.
And we do have fans that are in the stands here at Kansas, again, socially distanced, and we've socially distanced ourselves from Rutledge Wood, but he's brought a friend that he's going to watch the race with, and pretty important friend, the winner of the 47th Super Bowl. Bernard Pollard Jr. is joining him, Rut.
Rick, this is so cool. I'm really excited. First off, Bernard Pollard Jr., thanks for joining us, buddy. I know we're going to have a lot of fun watching today. You know, you were a Friday Night Lights guy on the football field, but this year brought you into NASCAR. You've fallen in love with it. You're doing iRacing. What was it that really captured your heart about this sport?
Well, I think once again, I mean, just it's been told to me all these drivers do is go left. They just press the gas pedal, and it's just about who's the fastest car. And that's completely opposite of what I've seen. I'm seeing strategy. I'm seeing competition. I'm seeing tempers flare. I'm seeing a love for the sport. I'm seeing a fans just welcoming me to the sport. It's just been awesome, and that's what got me in it.
What are you most excited about seeing today for the race?
Well, right. I think, you know, I've watched this for the last, 6 months, 5 or 6 months, and I've watched them drive in rain. I've seen the weather delays. I've seen road course. I've seen hot weather. Now this is football weather right here. So now I get to see some cold weather. I'm seeing everybody bundled up. If this was on a football field, somebody better go out to warm-ups with no shirt on, put Vaseline on your face, put it on your arms, and we better get ready to go suit up and beat somebody's tail. These guys better get ready to go.
This is going to be awesome, man. Thanks for joining us today. Rick, we're going to be watching on Zoom all day. I can't wait to share. It's going to be a lot of fun, buddy.
Yeah, I don't think I would want Bernard coming at me. He was a safety in the NFL, and I'm guessing when they call him Crush Boy 31, it's because he could crush someone. He looked pumped up and ready to go. And we're seeing the cars making their way on pit road right now. That's because they're checking pit road speed here. There's no practice, no qualifying. The first time that these cars will see speed on this racetrack will be when the green flag flies here in just a moment.
Yes, you see Kurt Busch looking down at his dash on board with Clint Boyer right here, just confirming, you know, you can set your pit road speed, but you want to just confirm it with what NASCAR is getting for numbers. That's the type of penalty that can put you behind very early at a race like this.
Clint Boyer's actually going to be, he's going to be moving up. Oh, look at this. The 14 made by, I'm guessing those are Clint Boyer fans, maybe friends out there on the grass hill. He's going to head up to the front. Year 15 for Clint Boyer full-time in the Cup Series, and he just made the announcement 2 weeks ago. This will be his final season as a full-time driver. He is headed to the Fox Sports broadcast booth. He will be helping out Jeff Gordon there. And look at some of the stats for Clint Boyer. Won the 2008 Xfinity Series championship. Made his first start all the way back in 2005 at Phoenix, and that's where the championship will end this year. That's where his full-time career in NASCAR will end this year. 10 Cup Series wins for Clint Boyer. Clint Boyer has been definitely one of the great personalities out of Emporia, Kansas. So back at his home track for the final time here. And DeKalb on the hood. Very fitting, a seed company here in the Midwest.
Fortunate to be a teammate with Clint for several years. Become really good friends with Clint. He has a real passion for racing, loves his sport. Bittersweet day for him. He's excited about his next opportunity, still loves driving. Loves the race fans, absolutely loves being around the fans, hanging out with them. If you ever get a chance to, it's a good time. I'd take advantage of it.
All right, Steve, let's take a look at the Coca-Cola race breakdown.
Well, we've discussed this 1.5 mile track at Kansas and all of the trouble around the corner. 1.5 mile, it looks pretty simple, right? Just a normal D-shaped tri-oval, but it has a little bit of character when it comes to the corners. 17 degrees down along the white line, and as you move up closer to the wall, the banking increases all the way to 20 degrees. That is what's going to encourage these drivers to use all of the asphalt 2 and 3 wide racing. The race itself, 267 laps, 400 miles. Stage 1, 80 laps. Stage 2, 80 laps. The final stage, 107 laps. Fuel window, 60 or just over 60, and we expect a competition caution, Rick, because of no practice around lap 25.
All right, let's head back to Marty.
Hey, Rick, your junior mentioned a moment ago, it's coldest race in years. In fact, it's the coldest race in over 5 years, in the 40s with wind chill in the 30s today. It's really going to affect these tires. NASCAR has a rule. Teams cannot apply heat to these tires. So you're going to hear mention of cold tires today. You don't normally hear that in NASCAR. Normally that's reserved for open wheel racing, but cold tires will be a factor this afternoon, especially on restarts. And I had a number of crew chiefs tell me, watch the start of this race. The cold tires and the wind and the chilly temperatures may catch some drivers off guard going into turn 1.
Yeah, a lot of times we don't talk about wind chill when we come to a racetrack, but this is the coldest Cup race since March of 2015 at Martinsville. And if I remember correctly, it snowed there. It was that cold, but it's very, very chilly here. We mentioned the current temperature, 45 degrees. So very cold, and the wind chill is down in the 30s.
Yeah, so the cars and the crews will be tested in those conditions.
Getting ready for the start of the Kansas race, the start of the round of 8. Big move already for Kevin Harvick. Brings that number 4 Ford to the inside, making it 3 wide as they go through 3 and 4.
Kurt Busch tried to block him, but just didn't make it quick enough. Let's see what lane's going to work. Sometimes you make that inside move, and you actually lose spots. Hamlin went with Kurt Busch rather than Harvick. Now going with Harvick.
Look around the top of the racetrack, though. That bright yellow and red number 22 of Joey Logano makes that lane work. He should have momentum down the backstretch and help from Kurt Busch in the 1.
Hamlin got underneath the 4 of Kevin Harvick. That lost his momentum.
Chase Elliott out front, Joey Logano running second. Kurt Busch in the 1 is third. The fight for 4th is on between Harvick on the outside, Denny Hamlin on the inside. Those two have been the winningest drivers in 2020. 9 wins for Harvick already, 7 wins for Denny Hamlin.
Check out Kurt Busch driving up there underneath the 22 car. I thought he was holding up this 4 and this 11, but he's been able to get a run here on the 22. Harvick with a run off the top. Get a little side draft from the 11 car is going to slow him back down. Chase Elliott out front comfortably. These guys here battling side by side.
Fight for second is on. Kurt Busch, that lower line, normally you would say the quicker way around the racetrack, but momentum plays into it on the outside, and Joey Logano with that momentum surging ahead here as they go into 3.
It's like Logano said, these cooler temperatures are going to have a lot of throttle in the corners, so there will be a lot of side drafting. You'll use that tactic to complete passes.
Well, Junior, on the right side of your screen to see the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. He had inspection issues this morning, started in the back, already up 18 positions from the start of the race. As you see, he's doing most of that work on the top of the racetrack, following Kyle Busch currently in the 18, making short work of some impressive cars. The 95 going by, the 3 of Austin Dillon. Look at the speed in the 19 early.
Coming up on the 48 there of Jimmy Johnson just in front of them, his final season.
Still got a battle here for second place, but behind them, the Hendrick cars, the 88 and the 24 on the high side, driving up into the picture. Alex Bowman, one of our playoff contenders, William Byron.
Hey, Junior, Kurt Busch really hanging in there, holding on to the 3rd position right now, trying to keep Kevin Harvick and Joey Logano behind him. I asked him about all these weather conditions today, and Kurt told me, I think the cooler conditions really play into our favor. We are very good at tracks where we have high grip. Obviously, they have a lot of grip here today with the cold weather as they go 3 wide on the front stretch for second. Kurt said, I think this weather will only help us to be even better than we expected to be.
3 wide for second. How about Kurt Busch going to the inside, and now the momentum playing into the 4 of Kevin Harvick.
Drivers, I think this is the cool weather. This is the cool weather showing up right here. We've seen this aero package on the cooler, grippier racetracks at night. The pack stays together. Well, here it is, 40-something degrees, and the leader cannot get away. The 4, the 22 right on his bumper. I think this has to do with the grip as we see the 4 looking for the lead.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick went to the bottom. Chase took that away from him. Now to the top. A lot of drivers talk about Kevin Harvick and this cool temperature being an advantage for Kevin Harvick. He's able to get his car out of the air, take some downforce off that car. That makes it go faster down the straightaways. They have more success doing that than other teams, and these cool conditions could help that make that easier. See if it pays off.
Yeah, well, you'll see it if it pays off down the front straightaway or down the back straightaway. The draft that car will be able to create in tow will be strong enough to give him opportunities to make runs and passes on people.
Junior, that 9 to Chase Elliott looks like he's driving as much out of the mirror than the windshield. I mean, he's picking his line, basically just being defensive, isn't he?
Absolutely. You got so you see the rear spoiler, it's very big. You use that as a tactic to be able to block and take air off of the car that's following you. As the 4 car gets the run here down the straightaway, see this little run he gets from the draft. Now the 9's got to try to drive into the corner in the middle of the racetrack and force him to either go low or high, really taking his line away right there. 4 car bouncing up the racetrack, gives up second place.
Yeah, Kevin tried to enter really high into turn 1 right there, and it just did not work for him. There's a bump in the entrance to 1. You can see the car bounce through that bump, and it just lost the steering for a moment.
They're running about a half a second faster here than they did earlier in the summer. And maybe they aren't, set up for that much more travel. When the cars go into the corner faster, they travel harder, into the corner, travel further.
Well, this is where the 4, this is the Kevin Harvick I know, right around the white line. Look at the speed he carries through the middle and off the corner. Instantly gets to the rear bumper of the 9. An impressive set of corners. Now what will he do? He's going to try to run a lane higher than the 9, but it just doesn't seem to agree with the 4.
Basically, Chase goes into the corner in the middle, and that gives Chase the option to go lower or higher without making a big move and taking a lot of momentum out of his car. So he goes into the corner in the center, and that way if the 4 goes low, he can turn low. Look at him turning low to block the 4's move. Now I go into the corner, in this next corner in the center of the racetrack, and if the 4 goes high, he'll drift up high and try to take the air from the 4 car.
Kevin's got to find a way to surprise him. He's got to find a way to make Chase guess incorrectly. Just show him something different. Chase is really good in 3 and 4. You saw the gap that he created. Kevin seems to be better in 1 and 2.
Jeff, you mentioned surprising. Do you want to be surprised at 180 miles an hour? They're almost 190 as he was entering turn 1.
Anything's a surprise at that speed, Rick. Anything can happen. See that right there? Harvick looks better than Chase in 1 and 2, but down here, he's just trying to get away from Chase, and Chase takes advantage of it, has more speed through the center of the corner.
Chase Elliott's out front here at Kansas. Playoff drivers dominating the top 10.
Grab an ice cold Coke and buckle up. You're watching NASCAR on NBC.
NASCAR on NBC is brought to you by Ford. Build Ford proud. Progressive. Stay on track with great race at progressive.com. And by Coca-Cola. Together tastes better. Well, NASCAR Drive, that's your live race day companion. You can follow your favorite drivers with high-definition in-car cameras. All you have to do is visit NASCAR.com/drive, or you can download the mobile app today. Still out front is Chase Elliott here. He has led all 19 laps up to this point. Kevin Harvick still holding on to second. Logano is third. Hamlin fourth. And Ryan Blaney, the highest scored non-playoff driver, right now in the 5th position. Good battle here as Alex Bowman dropping back a bit, but you have Kurt Busch and Brad Keselowski. And Keselowski running that high line. Look at the momentum that the two has.
Rick, whether it's the temperature, the playoffs, the combination of both, the intensity of this race has been as high of any race that I have seen this season. No one really getting away. You mentioned the 9 of Elliott still leading, but right here, 2 wide between the 88 and the 2. Only about 4 laps, and we should see a competition yellow. So these drivers know they are racing to a defined distance.
Just right behind that crowd, guys. Tyler Reddick in that 8 car. He's gotten off to a good start today. He was ripping the fence right up on the wall, making a lot of ground up. He's since moved to the bottom, but And we talk about the playoffs guys, all the playoff guys, but some people will emerge as threats as this race goes on, and they may not be in the playoffs. Tyler Reddick up to 9th right now, having a good race.
Yeah, there's 3 of them right there with Tyler, and the 24, the 20 of Jones.
Yeah, look at Logano. He got blocked in here. That slower lap traffic. The 53 of James Davison.
It's going to cost him that spot with Denny. Denny going to be able to clear him easily.
And lap traffic, guys, I think it's going to be a point of conversation just because the leaders use the entire racetrack. Bottom, middle, and top. So if you're a slower car, I'm not sure you know where to go to get out of the way.
See Blaney in that 12 car. Another one of the guys not in the playoffs, but having a strong race. Marty?
Hey, Jeff, as we approach the competition caution, man, the dynamic between now and July just so different. It was 100 degrees here in July. Today, so much cooler. So because of that, Denny Hamlin, for the first 10 laps, was wide open, not even getting out of the throttle at all, and then just barely getting out of the gas now for these next couple of laps. But he is talking about the pace of this so much different day that they've been on the splitter for the entire first part of this run.
Marty, when you have a temperature swing like that, some 50 degrees or so, you're going to bring a different race car to the track than you had in July. Talking with Paul Wolf, crew chief of this yellow red 22 for Joey Logano this morning, he said it isn't super simple, but you do simply plug in a temperature change into the simulation programs, and you begin to get an idea of what car would be optimal to bring here. Data in, change at 50 degrees or so, and you get a new output. Right now it's working for Logano the way they set it up.
That's your biggest concern. You asked me earlier, Rick, about what the weather brings. Well, there it is. You start to test all of your tools. You know, you go into simulation, you go into past history, you go into your notes, and you try to make a good, educated guess. And at this point in the season, anytime you have guess anywhere near your decisions, that's got to make your stomach feel a little queasy.
One other variable that Goodyear threw at them, a different right side tire than they were here with earlier in the year. So does that also come into play? Now it's 50 degrees or more cooler than it was, and a different tire.
Yeah, just one more item to put in your assumptions.
Yes,
and there's a competition caution. It is out now.
Keselowski this morning, Rick, asked him about this race. He said his biggest concern was that tire change. He had no idea what was going to happen with the temperature and the new tires. So think about that. Here's a guy in the playoffs talking about a tire change. That's how important it is to these drivers and teams.
And now into the hands of the crew. So also cold for those crew guys.
It's cold. One car that's not cold, the 19 of Martin Truex Jr., 25 positions from last on the field to 12th before the first pit stop. 25 positions in 25 laps. An amazing run. Remember this 19 car, we heard about it at the top of the show. 6 wins at this point a year ago. Only 1 win with his new crew chief so far. I'm waiting to see what is going to happen. Whether they're going to have that breakout day that instantly moves them to Phoenix, that makes them a favorite, or are they going to have the same, not bad, but kind of average day by Martin Truex Jr. standards? We'll see. And the crew, Rick, you mentioned those temperatures. Kind of got to get warmed up, jumping over pit. Well, you're that kicker. You've been iced on the sidelines. Now you got to jump in and make it happen.
Well, every time a caution comes out, the pace car will go out onto the track. Leading the field is the official pace car. That's the 2020 Toyota Camry TRD. Getting everyone in line. It will be lead lap cars that are first onto pit road, and then any lap down cars will be making the way the second time around.
Chase Elliott had drove away from the field as those tires started to wear. Now they'll all get new tires, and we'll see another pretty frenzied restart, I think, after this.
Chase Elliott bringing the field onto pit road, and we'll start with Parker.
And Kevin Harvick will pit behind him from second place at the top of your screen in that car at the top there. He was just too loose to start off throughout that run, but said as it got late, just before the caution came out, he felt like it was getting better and starting to level off to the 9. It'll be 4 Goodyear tires and adjustment in the right rear. Marty.
Parker, to further emphasize how cold it is here, Denny Hamlin was asked how are your temperatures. He said 45 degrees below what we expected. They're going to add some tape on that car for the 11 car. And he said, I just see more security overall. Chase Elliott, no complaints. And he led all 27 laps, but does not lead the race off pit road. You see his teammate William Byron taking 2 tires here and wins the race off pit road.
Yeah, a little bit of strategy coming into play early for the 24 team. Chad Knaus on the box until the end of the year for that crew. It's NASCAR Cup Series playoffs on NBC. This telecast presented by Coca-Cola. Anytime the guys come down pit road, there's always the possibility of a penalty. And the one was hit for speeding, so he's on pit road right now. Coming down. Looks like he will go to the attention of his crew one more time. He has to start in the back because of that speeding penalty. Now we have an opportunity to check in with Rut and Bernard. Guys, what have you seen so far that you liked? And have you sat down yet?
Oh, Rick, I mean, this is exciting. BP and I, we've been talking the whole time about stuff, but, you know, second round draft pick to Kansas City, you know what these temperature swings they're talking about really are. 100 degrees last time, or they're 40-something today. For you, as an athlete, was it hard for you to train in one kind of weather, go play in another? Because it's a lot of adaptation today.
Well, you know what? The great thing about it, when it's hot out, you know, I was a guy that cramped a lot, and so I got IVs, and I'm scared of needles. So the IVs and the Pedialyte, so I got to make sure I was hydrated. Now, when the weather starts getting a little cooler, that's where it's fun for us as football players, because now we can go out and play. We don't have to worry about being so dog dead tired on defense. But this is awesome. Watching this race, watching to see their adjustments. I'm at all right now. I'm in all right now.
Rick, we're ready for another restart, buddy. Bernard Pollard Jr. joined us today. This is awesome.
He's the other direction to you, Rut, by the way, if you're going to point at him. But we're glad that he's here, and I, too, am a little bit afraid of needles. So glad that we found out that he is human. Field approaching the Geico restart zone here. Once again, it's Chase Elliott, William Byron on the inside. Byron with a great start. Good jump here. And now he starts to block.
24 Byron only on 2 tires. Going to be interesting to see how those hold up as the 4 pushes the 9 to the outside.
A little bit loose now. Oh, a big block there as the 22 trying to go down. William Byron went down there to block, and the 9 surges ahead. But here comes the 4. Kevin Harvick in the 4 trying to take the lead away.
Harvick jumps on the outside, entering turn 3. Looks like he's made clear Chase Elliott right here. Chase fighting back, side drafting him left rear quarter panel, pulling that 4 car back. Harvick's not done with the fight though.
Down the backstretch again. Harvick surging in front. Harvick now leading at Kansas.
Now Chase Elliott's in a situation he's not been in all day. He's had clean air. This is the first time he's running behind somebody. He has a lot of learning to do. What his car will and will not do behind another car.
At the initial start of the race, it looked like that 9 car just didn't have the pace that everyone behind him did, but as the laps went on, he was able to drive away from the field. We'll see if they get a few laps in, if that 9 car starts to come on. Penske battle back there for 4th. The 22, the 2, the 12 all together. Side by side as teammates. One in the playoffs and one not. You got to take care of each other out there. It's tough to do. 24 car throwing a big block. It's riding on board the roof cam. Coca-Cola camera for Joey Logano. That is so frustrating when a non-playoff driver is taking those kind of moves. Williams out there trying to win this race himself. He's got every right to do what he wants to do, but if you're a playoff driver, it's very frustrating for Joey.
Do playoff drivers think that the other drivers out there should treat them differently?
No, it's just easier to act that to think that way, I guess. When you're a playoff driver, you really can't make any mistakes. You can't have anything hold you up.
They don't expect it, Rick, but they want it.
Yeah, they want
a little help, but I don't think they expect it.
That's exactly right. Parker.
Well, guys, with no practice and no qualifying, oftentimes to start these races, these teams will use a little leeway in terms of how much tape they put on the grill. And with these cold temperatures, a lot of these teams want to add it. Well, the 19 of Martin Truex Jr., he wanted to add a piece of tape. Guess what? It's so cold, it wouldn't stick. It fell off the grill of the 19 team, and you see him falling back from his 12th place starting position on the restart all the way back to 15th. Sometimes you don't get that tape on there. You don't have the speed inside that race car. He's had some more work to do now.
Great indicator of how cold it really is here. You mentioned the wind chill was in the 30s, but you think about it, these cars going over 190 miles an hour, it's even colder.
It's really interesting also, guys, how Martin Truex Jr. marched up through the field, and then when he got on the restart up there in the middle of them, he actually lost spots. It's really interesting what his car is driving impact versus catching them on the outside lane and had a little bit of clean air.
Well, how quickly can it happen on a restart? Let's take a look at that restart for the 19. Right here, Jeff, he's on the bottom 3 wide, not really an issue. You see Chase Elliott to the left, so he's in about 8th or 9th, but look right here, just doesn't leave turn 4 with good momentum, and look at the positions going by. 2 cars, 2 more cars, 3 more cars, 6, 7, 8 positions, 1 trip down the front straightaway. Remember that when we get to the end of this race or the end of these stages, Rick, points are on the line for these playoff guys. Martin Truex Jr. lost 7 in 1 straightaway.
It's just like plate racing, the draft. I mean, if you get left out, you get hung out. That's exactly what happened to the 19 car. No momentum coming off the bottom of the corner. Nobody pushing him. They side drafted off his right rear quarter panel and slowed him down, started him out.
Another interesting fact about this racetrack, I never knew this, but this racetrack has the longest straightaways of any 1.5-mile track. So that drafting and the loss of momentum that you were just talking about really pays a price here because the straights are so long.
Yeah, good Lord, you cannot wait to get to the next corner to recover.
You see the Penske drivers here running nose to tail. Joey Logano out front, Ryan Blaney not a part of the playoffs anymore, and then back there in the 2, Brad Keselowski.
Yeah, it's another situation of, teammates racing each other. One's in the playoffs and one isn't, and you want a little help from that teammate that's not in the playoffs. Whether it's, setup help, transparency between the teams on what they're doing, how they're planning to prepare for the race. Also, how you race him out on the racetrack. Oh, is he going to side draft him a little bit? He does. I'm sure that aggravated Joey a little bit. Don't side draft me. I'm your teammate. We hear it all the time on their radio where they talk about each other.
Halfway through this first stage, and these 2 are continuing to fight for the spot. 4th is the position they're battling for. Logano edges ahead now, but Blaney on the bottom of the racetrack fighting back.
Yeah, Blaney's not in an enviable position because he wants to go win. I want to win a race. But he's racing up here with these guys that are trying to win a championship.
And they want as many points as they can get. Again, points are paid to the top 10 at the end of each stage. And that first stage coming up here in 39 laps.
Grab an ice cold Coke and buckle up. You're watching NASCAR on NBC.
Joey Logano right now running 6 up front. It's Kevin Harvick leading the Hollywood Casino 400 here from Kansas Speedway. Tomorrow night on NBC, Gwen, Blake, John, and Kelly are back. A new season of The Voice. It's tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. Alex Bowman right now running in the 7th position, Dave.
And Rick, we've been green since the competition caution here at the Kansas Speedway. And if this run goes completely green, it could be almost a half hour or more between these crews see action again. The temperatures, we've told you, are really cold today. And one of the things the crews will do, in addition to moving around wearing extra layers, is they'll keep their helmets on. During the summer, sometimes they can't wait to get them off between pit stops. But keep that head worn, keep yourself ready, because a half hour between pit stops, that's a good way to slow down. And they don't want to do that today. Alex Bowman's crew trying to get ready for the next time he'll be down pit road.
Saw that temperature comparison there. 93 degrees when they were last here in July, and now just 47 degrees today. And the temperature is going to dip down into the 30s.
I'm impressed with the speed in the 88 car, the Chevrolets in general. Let's hear what the 9 car is talking about.
The radio's got an issue of some sort. Had to get to the break here. Can't hardly hear y'all.
Communication. You always want good communication. Just one more thing that can be distracting. We just heard about the crews. I think about the spotters, guys. I don't think that's the issue with the 9 radio, but talk about how cold and windy it is. We'll take a guy from pit road. We'll put him up on the roof. It's way colder. Look at these guys up here all bundled up. No telling who's who. Everybody has hoods and layers. I mean, it's going to be a long day for the spotters to try to stay focused just standing there, Marty.
Yeah, see, somewhere up there is Eddie DeHaan, the spotter for Chase Elliott. I called Eddie before the race and said, hey, how bundled up are you guys going to be? He has on 5 layers up top, three layers in his pants, and just trying to stay as warm as they can. But up there, you can imagine how much more wind is blowing on those spotters. It's about 15 degrees cooler for those guys, they say, with the wind chill up there versus everybody down here on pit road. It is a tough day for these spotters, and as Eddie told me, hey, you got to stay warm if you want to stay focused all day long. Chase needs me focused. I'll do my best job to stay warm.
They are definitely the eyes up there. They're keeping track of everything, and they're watching right now Eric Jones make a big move. Got to the back of the 22. Eric Jones, his 2021 is still uncertain where he's going to end up.
Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about playoff drivers, but I'm not sure there's a driver in the field that this race is more important to who's not in the playoffs than Eric Jones. There's some great storylines. Jimmy Johnson making his last start, Clint Boyer, guys that I think would be popular wins, but for his own career, Eric Jones, I don't know who he's talking to. We don't know what conversations are happening, but a win has to move him up anyone's list who's considering the driver of the 20 to take over their car for next year.
Some good racing back in the pack. A few laps ago, Eric Almirola drove underneath the 18 of Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch put his fender right on the quarter panel of Eric, trying to get that spot back, and then just lost his race car. Walked the car up the racetrack. It's kind of been the story all year long, just really close to contact right there for that 18 car. Just really cannot get the car to do what he wants it to do.
The earliest a defending champion has ever been out in this format. Kyle Busch being eliminated after the round of 12.
Riding along board the Coca-Cola can with Joey Logano. The 20 car, Eric Jones trying to get a run here on the inside. He's a little bit quicker. Let's see where Joey goes down here in turn 1 and 2, where he's running on the racetrack. He's running the middle of the corner on both ends. Jones to the top, trying to get some momentum, trying to get to the outside here. If not, he's going to get this run down the back straightaway, go to the inside. The 22 has to lift pretty hard there for a lap car, allowing Eric to go by. The 22 fading a little bit here, guys. Next car to come up here and try to pass him is Martin Truex Jr.
The 12's fading just a little bit as well. He had just passed Brad and was really running the 9 car down, but he's lost something here in the last couple laps. And Brad's gotten back by him.
Maybe Brad's just getting better as the run goes on. We always see a lot of early run speed out of the Penske cars, but today they seem a little bit better with that as far as being able to hang on and compete throughout entire runs. Always fast right when they take off on new tires. So 9 cars driving in on this 4 here, guys, on the long run.
Yeah, he's been quicker than Kevin has the last couple laps.
Yeah, Chase has shown some great long run speed in the first part of the race. After the initial start, he kind of held those guys up a little bit. Then he drove away from them. Now he's running them back in, Marty.
Yeah, Dale, that's kind of the calling card for the 9 team, the long run speed, and they're showing it here as well. But are there more problems with the radio? We heard that communication earlier. This happened 2 laps ago. Listen.
How about this radio you got me? So I can't hear y'all at all now. I want to figure something out. Neither radio work. Good, we can hear you.
So, Steve, if you're Alan Gustafson, what do you do now? Chase has told everybody, I can't hear you. They can hear him, though. So what do you do if you're Alan Gustafson, and how do you fix this situation here early in the race? Obviously a problem with the radios for the 9 car.
Well, most teams have a remote radio setup that can be handed in on a pit stop. It's normally just a radio with its own push-to-talk button, can be plugged directly into the helmet, because right now, no radio is not a big issue, or at least Chase Elliott not hearing Allen, because they're by themselves. But, Rick, we've seen how crazy these restarts are. 2, 3, 4 wide. Eddie DeHaan, the spotter for Chase Elliott, is going to have the ability to have clear communication to his driver. That's when the issue will become the biggest.
Let's ride on board with Kevin Harvick. See Chase Elliott's running down. Let's see if we can figure out what Kevin's dealing with. He's wide open in the gas. Has to come off the throttle right there. Never completely out. Just maybe not able to go back full throttle as quick as he wants to. Watch his steering wheel. Looks like to me, he tugs on that wheel a little bit loose right there. Looks like to me he's lost a little bit of rear grip. See that wheel where he's got it moving the hands back to the right? That's just trying to keep up with the rear of the car.
Joe Logano is still struggling with his car as he slips back through the field. Truex has gone by. The 8 car now. If Reddick is right on his bumper. The 95, the 14. He's got a lot of guys right behind him here, guys. He's going to be losing some spots at this rate.
Things tightening up front. Join Dale Jr. this week on Wednesday, 9 a.m. Eastern for NBC Sports on Sirius XM. That's NASCAR Radio Channel 90. Joining the morning drive. Junior giving you some insight as to what's going to take place at Texas, a racetrack where he knows all too well how to get to victory lane. New leader at Kansas is Chase Elliott. He led a lot of laps to start off with, and here was the pass.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick's gotten loose. It's allowed Chase Elliott to jump on the outside with a lot of grip. Just able to stay in the gas. Kevin Harvick really can't defend. Does not have enough security with the back of the car. Chase Elliott taking advantage of it. You could hear, riding along with Kevin Harvick, you could hear right there, hey, he went to the gas and just couldn't go full throttle.
So I think seeing these two guys who have pretty much dominated the race up to this point, the 9 and the 4, one's got the short run speed, the other's got the long run speed. How will this race play out to favor either one of those guys? Will we get a short run at the end or a long run that favors Chase? Parker.
Well, guys, it's interesting you point out that Kevin Harvick lost for a grip there because he absolutely did, but it was the same thing in the first run of the competition caution, but it was earlier on that he lacked for a grip. When he got towards the end, when that competition caution came out, he said he felt like the car was actually coming to him, and his speed compared to the 9 was leveling out. Now, as we've seen them go about 10 laps past that last run, it's obviously gone the opposite way, starting to lose that rear grip, and the 4 car just doesn't quite have the handle on it, Dave.
Parker, 39 laps into this run, the 2 car Brad Keselowski is reporting a small vibration, and then he categorized it as a 5 out of 10, so halfway to really, really bad. But remember last night at this track, Chase Briscoe winning the race in the Xfinity Series in a Mustang also reported a vibration that the team told him, well, that's pretty common here, and the team is relaying back to Brad. Remember, it's sort of common here as well. Guys, this smooth racetrack makes a sensitive driver feel just about everything. The crew standing by just in case.
Yeah, for whatever reason, this tire or this track has always kind of created vibrations that feel like a loose wheel but tend to be not loose wheels. And it's tough to trust that as a driver, but having so much experience here with that, you can kind of get those vibrations at Kansas and kind of, you know, put it out of your mind and keep on running. If it does build worse, that's a loose wheel. That's a tire getting worse and worse. But if it's just a vibration that comes in and stays pretty steady throughout the run, you can forget about that. That 2 car, it's not slowing him down any, is it, Jeff?
No, it's not. I think he has the best car on the racetrack right now, working on Kevin Harvick, but he's also catching the 9 at the same time. He's working on Harvick.
As easy as the 9 went around Harvick for the lead, he hasn't gone anywhere. He's sitting right there in front of the 4 car of Kevin Harvick, and Brad's run both these guys down.
Yeah, think about this race here in the summer. Kevin Harvick had the lead late in the race and just could not hang on to it. And that was not a long run. Seeing a little bit of that today, not near as bad as it was in the summer, but Kevin's long run speed, as Brad's going to take a look on the inside, Kevin's long run speed right now doesn't seem to be what he needs to have.
And surprised Brad went to the bottom there. I think his speed's been on the top. That's how he ran the 4 car down and made this move to the inside, but I don't know if he can complete this pass right here unless Kevin gives it to him.
Closing in on this stage in, we're going to pay points. Brad able to get on that white line. Almost cleared Kevin. Kevin's not going to give it to him, obviously.
Every position is a point, and you mentioned points matter. One driver out of these playoffs will advance into the championship 4 based on points.
Brad back to the top here, trying to resize this 4 car up.
I was going to mention with 6 to go, one driver that's not looking good when it comes to points at the end of the stage, the one at Kurt Busch, had that speeding penalty. He's only got back to the 19th position. And another driver who had a gamble for 2 tires, William Byron, while he's not in the playoffs, started on the front row in this restart. He's back to 20th. So those 2 cars didn't kind of go the right way. This battle continues, though, right here, Marty.
Meanwhile, up front, Chase Elliott. Look at that. Brad Keselowski going to try and get second here from Kevin Harvick. Meanwhile, up front, Chase Elliott trying to get yet another stage win as Keselowski finishes that pass. Harvick trying to come back here, Rick. And on the radio issue for Chase Elliott, he told everybody on his team, everybody be quiet. Everything you're saying is coming across to me as static. If you're all quiet, that'll help me out and we can finish off this stage and figure out what we need to do to fix this radio.
Last time through 4, Harvick almost got into the wall. That's what enabled the 2 of Keselowski to be able to make that pass.
Kevin's got a lot of work to do right here. There's a lot of cars coming behind him. Kevin's car is fading quickly. He's going to have to really stay tough here to keep these cars. Look how much that 4 car is moving around. And look at the momentum he's losing because of it.
Yeah, easily passed there. Ryan Blaney gets by. So that's another position, another point. And here comes Denny Hamlin now to the high side. He's going to try to go by Harvick.
Oh, he'll go by with ease. Eric Jones in the 20 will probably go by him on this same straightaway. We look off to the right of this in-car camera. You're going to see the 20 show up in view. He's going to go to the outside of the 4. Here he is. No match for Kevin Harvick as we have a battle for the lead shaping up between Keselowski and Elliott.
Man, this is impressive
And
what these 2 cars doing.
A block there by the 77. The 9 can't get through. The 2 all over his back bumper.
2 car through the eye of the needle right here. The middle of 3 and 4, that's tough to do. But to give up a little bit of time to the 9 car.
And look how much that slowed him down. Look, Blaney and Hamlin have caught these 2.
Now under 2 laps to go. In stage 1.
Brad back to the bottom, making time on the bottom late in the run. Typically you see everybody running the wall at this point. Really impressed with the speed of this 2 car to be able to make that speed low in the corners. Look at him again to the bottom. The 9's going to go down there, try to take a little bit of his air away. He's got some lap cars up here. Could create a little bit of loss of speed as he has to go the inside of this car off turn 4.
Now 1 lap to go in stage 1. Chase Elliott out front. He's never advanced to the championship 4 in his career. A win at this racetrack would solidify that position. But right now he's looking to win this stage.
Denny Hamlin on the inside of the 12 car down the back straightaway, side by side. Side drafting down into turn 3.
Chase Elliott working through the lap traffic. Coming out of turn 4, and he will win stage 1 at Kansas.
Look at that, Rick. All the top 7, 8 cars all in the same straightaway.
Denny and Blaney come across the finish line at a dead heat.
Harvick all the way back to 7th. That was a 50-lap run, Steve. They're going to have to work on that car. He really fell off in those last 10 laps.
Chase Elliott gets his 9th stage win of 2020. And momentum looking very good at the end of that stage. Stage 1 winner, 10 extra points.
Well, this Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, the NASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series playoffs continue from the virtual Kansas Speedway. The second race of the playoffs. Last week, the Roval was won. That driver has moved forward. 2 races left. You can get all the coverage on enascar.com. Myself, Parker Kligerman, will be helping with the coverage this coming Tuesday, 9 o'clock Eastern. Rutledge, I think you have an iRacer with you. Our man Bernard, I think, loves some iRacing from what I hear.
He sure does, Steve, and we'll be quick here. Bernard, you're loving this race, watching this together. This is so much fun, but what are you noticing about the laps that these drivers are turning? What jumped out to you?
So to look at this, and a couple days ago, I'll go back to my iRacing experience. Now, my mama always said, if they go jump off that building, are you going to follow them? So I was iRacing the other day in Kansas, and I saw everybody when they passed the white line or passed the finish line or checker, they would drop below the white. And so I'm looking like, well, what are they doing that for? So I dropped, and then I lost control of my car and wrecked everybody. Why is it that these guys are dropping below the white line? I think I heard Dale say something about fresh air or something about the air. What is that for?
Dale, help us out here, buddy.
Well, you know, these guys, they can go down underneath that line and get a little bit of advantage, but they're just trying to keep clean air on that nose to keep that car turning. It's important to not lose the front end of that car in the turns.
Field going through the Geico restart zone. Back underway. Stage 2 has begun. Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott fighting for the lead here at Kansas.
Bernard, don't feel bad. I have the same issue.
Well, so by the way, so did Justin Allgaier.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yesterday in the race.
Oh, the 18 of Kyle Busch down there at the bottom. We've yet to see much of him today. 3 wide down the backstretch, trying to move up through the field while the battle up front continues between Chase Elliott and the 9 and the 11 of Hamlin.
They stay side by side. Marty, is Chase hearing these guys now? Did they fix the audio?
He is, Rick, and he did not have to plug in the brand new headphones. What he did is he kind of unplugged and plugged back in the old headphones. Alan Gustafson told me, I think there's a short somewhere. So if it goes out again, Chase could literally have to drive today and hold that earplug in to make sure that it works. But it's a connection somewhere inside his helmet. They think that's where the issue is.
He lost the lead now. Denny Hamlin out front. Here comes Ryan Blaney trying to take second away from Chase Elliott.
It seems like that top with those guys lined up there, the bottom just cannot get the momentum going. You see Chase trying to get up the racetrack in front of the 12. Get a little push off the nose of the 12 car, down the back straightaway. Had a pretty good run on Denny Hamlin. Getting into turn 3. The 12 back to the bottom here for second place.
Further behind them, the 1 car, he has worked himself up, had a really good restart. We saw him lose ground. Look where he is right now. He was penalized earlier, couldn't make ground up. Good restart. He's got himself in the top 10.
Almost 4 wide right here. But Joe Logano gets in line in front of the 20. A little contact there from Jones as he tries to push the 22.
A little damage to the back of that 22. It looks like he pushed him pretty hard.
Blaney's clear into second place. Keselowski off the top here. He's going to have a run down the front straightaway. He gets slowed back down with the side draft of Kevin Harvick. Man, it's wild. That run that the 2 car had by himself would have took him up to the outside of Chase Elliott, but the side draft from before stopped the 2 car in his tracks.
He's in trouble now, Kevin is. See, Brad is with that 9 car, pushed that 9 car out and gave Brad a little bit of a draft as well. Kevin actually fighting back on the bottom. Dave, what do you have on Brad?
Jeff wanted to update on that vibration that Brad Keselowski felt when the tires and wheels came off of the 2 car. The team had a chance to examine them to see if indeed a wheel weight had moved. You see those white lines on the right front of Brad's car. The wheel weights are still there, but when you move to the right rear of Brad's car, there's a white mark on the tire, but there is no wheel weight on the wheels. Sometimes they just fly off. These wheels turn at tremendous RPMs, and that caused the imbalance. Brad was asked, you think that's what it was? He said that's exactly what it felt like, right rear wheel weight missing.
And as a crew chief, I love when I can find something for my driver who had a vibration. Just like your street car at home, these tires have to be balanced to run smooth as we see the battle between the 2 and the 1 continue. A driver, though, that had to pit a second time to assure he didn't have a loose wheel. The 8 of Tyler Reddick, all the way at the back of the field, had to come a second trip down pit road to tighten lug nuts. We'll see if he can recover.
Kurt Busch doing a really nice job. I thought he had Brad cleared. Didn't quite do it. Kurt's the guy that no one expected to be in this round. Won that race, got himself in, and now showing some strength.
One at Las Vegas, another 1.5 mile racetrack.
You know, he won at Las Vegas, but it was a great strategy call, and he kept his track position. No disrespect to the win. It was a win, and it counts, and they deserved it. But it wasn't with just raw speed all day long. This 1 car today, as he drives inside the 4 car right here. Oh, so we have a little bag on the track, it looks like. A much better car. A much better car than what the 1 had at Las Vegas.
And he just drove. Harvick struggling. Harvick he lost his car right there.
You got to imagine that car feels really good out front, but the more he gets behind these guys, the more traffic he gets in, the worse it's going to be for him. As we've talked about over and over and over, they like to trim their car out, take the drag out, take a little downforce out for that straight line speed.
Guys, what about,
wow, look at that.
What about an adjustment to this 4 car? Because he wasn't good on the long runs. Could he be getting better as this run progresses?
I don't expect it would. I think he'd have the speed on the early part of the run when he's got the grip of the tire. Ryan Blaney trying to get up here and take the lead away from Denny Hamlin. Hanging in there with that 12 car. He's had good speed.
Yeah, Junior, last time down the front stretch, Blaney, just like this, got a big run on the bottom. Hamlin blocked. They had to crisscross each other. We'll see if Blaney can complete it this time, just like this.
So Denny's going to take the shorter route. Bernard was wondering, that's how you do it in iRacing. Everybody runs that line online because it is the shortest route. Things are kind of dynamic here in the real world. You draft wherever the guy is in front of you, wherever he goes.
Blaney's car is just so good at this end of the racetrack. This time Hamlin goes all the way to the white line. He's going to take that bottom. But even with that, the 12 car seems to have a pretty good run. It just kind of goes away down the straightaway.
Again, to the apron. The 11 car using that apron, using that shorter distance, trying to break the draft.
We normally see these races dominated by the drivers and the teams that are in the playoffs. It's so difficult to bring the same amount of energy, the same amount of emotion that those guys in the playoffs are able to bring, because their race means so much more to them. Championship on the line, but Blaney and his team have brought a lot of speed today. They're going to be a threat all day long. I don't think that's a question.
Good battle for the lead here as Blaney continues right in the tire tracks of that 11. Now he's going to move up the racetrack a bit. Again, the fight for the lead between the 11 and 12.
Yeah, right behind them. Great battle for third between the 9 and the 4 car, the 2 car. You see those guys right there all together. We're trying to figure out who's the comers and goers of this group. We thought Harvick was slipping back, but he's hanging right in here in 4th place.
Yeah, who's not in that shot is, there you go, the back of that shot, the 1 car. He had gotten right to the 9. He had some trouble in the exit of 2 a few laps ago. Harvick got by him, Brad got by him. He's been able to gather it back up, though, and stay with this group.
Got some lap traffic up here in front of all these guys. Could affect somebody's line, somebody's pace.
There's a big run right there from the 2 of Keselowski. Closes the gap in, goes to the bottom of the track, tries to look to the inside of the 4.
And the lappers are going to be in his way coming off turn 4. He's going to have to go down the racetrack here. Cut in front of Brad Keselowski. He's got a great run off the nose of that 2 car, pushed him right up alongside the 9 car, Chase Elliott. That's trimmed out, stripped down, downforce drag car. Gets a great shove off the nose of a lot of cars. Gets great runs down the straightaway. Couldn't hold it in turn 2, though. Didn't have the grip to be able to complete the pass.
Denny Hamlin's out front and being dogged by that 12 of Ryan Blaney. Remember, Hamlin's won the last 2 here. Nobody's won 3 in a row.
Grab an ice cold Coke and buckle up. You're watching NASCAR on NBC.
In the middle of the second stage, NASCAR Cup Series playoffs on NBC. This telecast presented by Coca-Cola. Denny Hamlin still out front. The official app of NASCAR delivers an all-new AR racing experience for the playoffs. All you have to do is search NASCAR in your app store and download for free to start playing today. Hamlin's out front, but it hasn't been long since the 12 of Ryan Blaney has been right there fighting. And some of these lap cars are coming into play now as far as the lead of this race, as we see a good battle on the right side of the screen too. Chase Elliott moving in front of the 4.
Yeah, it's right about that time where Chase's car starts to continue to go toward the front. He has that long run speed. The 4 car starts to struggle. 12 car did get right up beside our leader. Lap car foiled that plan off of turn 2. Denny kept the lead by using the top of the racetrack. That's where the 12's car is going to go to try to recreate an opportunity to make a pass.
You see what Blaney was able to do there is this track's been run on more and more as he's able to enter the corner higher. That's going to be a big advantage. See right there, able to enter the corner and keep the car on the wall. That helps his momentum on corner exit. Watch the run he gets right here on Hamlin. Just got to keep doing that. It's a game of inches. You're just gaining an inch a lap, just an inch a lap, and eventually you'll have an opportunity to make a move.
That's the problem. Now my front is a little bit too tight, and I have no rear grip. 10-4.
It's Kevin Harvick talking about the balance of his car. He's starting to fade just a little bit here, struggling with the handle.
Marty.
Ryan Blaney sitting in second, and he told me, listen, we still have a lot to prove. We may not be in the playoffs, but even when we were in the playoffs, we thought this would be our best round. Kansas, Texas, Martinsville, honestly, among our top 5 racetracks. We need to show that we can go out and get a win. Right now, Blaney trying to pass Denny Hamlin for the lead and get up there and lead some laps here at Kansas. Behind him, Chase Elliott, the radio issue still not solved. Listen in.
Clear to 2, you got 3 on him. The louder you talk, the less I can hear you. Copy. Have backup, Tom.
So, Jeff, I'm just wondering, at some point, when does all of that, all this radio discussion that's going on, Chase having to constantly communicate with his team, become a distraction behind the wheel? I know you stay focused, obviously, as a playoff driver, and obviously as good as the 9 car is right now, but at some point, that's got to become a distraction.
Yeah, Marty, I'd say it's already become one. You gave a report earlier that said, hey, everybody just shut up. Let me focus on driving. When you can't hear, you're trying to decipher what people are saying, that is a distraction. Rather than focusing on driving your car, you're focusing on what are they saying. And that becomes a major distraction, and it hurts lap time.
He said the louder you talk, the less I can hear. That's like a riddle. I don't know. I don't know what to do about that.
I was expecting him to whisper.
Yeah.
And see if he could hear him. Parker.
Well, guys, that car for Kevin Harvick right now is a bit of a riddle. We heard that radio of him just being too loose, lacking rear grip, and that's been a consistent theme since the start of this race. So when they had that caution at stage 1, Rodney says, I think we need to tighten up, where Kevin replied, but when I get a sniff of traffic, I'm just too tight. And we've seen when he's behind other cars, he loses and knows that car. And I know we all talked about this team is known for really trimming out those cars, having cars that have less downforce than anyone else in the field. What's the risk in that? I think what we're seeing right now, the Ford car, where he's struggling to get the balance and doesn't have the grip he needs to run in traffic.
I think the cool conditions, guys, makes it that much more tempting to trim it out even more, because you're expecting so much more grip in the racetrack. But in traffic, you still lose the car aerodynamically the same, whether the track's hot or slick. So maybe these guys just overstep the bounds just a little bit. The question is, can they find a way to get it dialed back in?
You see right here, the 12 and the 11 have had this battle. This is when Blaney finally worked to the inside of the 11, and they come on the 0-0 of Quinn Houff. Quinn does a nice job leaving a lane for the 11. Unfortunately for Blaney, that let the 11 have some momentum. Now the 12 has gained all the way back to the rear bumper of the 11. He's inched his way back in, and with green flag pit stops expected in about the next 5 laps, it's kind of a game of chicken now. Who will go first to pit road? But this has been the look right here. The 12 climbs the banking on 1 and 2, and he gets through the middle of the corner pretty good, but then the run down the straightaway just kind of equals out.
Steve, you mentioned earlier the fuel window was going to be around 60 laps. You think they'll come a little bit earlier?
Yeah, I think tires have some value. They're out of the gas. New tires will pick up speed, so you're going to want to try to split the stage in half. Have the newest tires for the longest amount of time you can.
You could score the ultimate prize built for the ultimate fan. Enter now for a chance to win a customized Ford Mustang GT. Plus, get 5 bonus entries when you use the code ROUND8. Get started at NASCAR.com/Ford Playoffs promo. Riding along with Clint Boyer, Matt DeKalb, number 14.
Big question now, Rick, is, does anybody come to pit road first, Dave, and try to get those fresh tires?
Clint Boyer could be one of those guys. We'll have to see what he does. Remember, this week decided to sign a contract with Fox Sports, and he'll be broadcasting NASCAR races starting next year. This may be his last Cup race here at his home track of Kansas Speedway. Never been great for him, but you know what his team told me today? We saw what Kurt Busch did. He wanted his home track in Vegas, where he was never spectacular in the playoffs. We're hoping Clint can do the same way today, and he's running in the top 10. They're pitting, Parker.
They are. Eric Jones, the first of the leaders down pit road. Just a little tight inside the 20 car. Also may have a little bit of a hole in the front. The team was observing 2 pictures. You see that patch go there from that crew member on right above the Toyota sign, right on the middle of the Toyota sign there on the front, the 20 of Eric Jones.
Slow pit stop to repair that hole, but I actually prefer that to happen under green, as we see Kevin Harvick come to pit road as well. While you would think the time loss would be worth as long as you don't lose a lap, you're losing less spots. The field is spread out under green. Under yellow, that could have been 5, 10, 15 spots.
Parker.
Guys, we see Kevin Harvick coming down pit road here. He was really complaining at the end of that run that he just could not run in traffic, was losing handle. You see the adjustment in the right rear there. It's 4 Goodyear tires for Kevin Harvick, Dave.
Playoff contender Alex Bowman on the bottom of your screen. 4 Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel. His car was free entering the corner. They made adjustments for that.
Those two making their way off of pit road while Joey Logano comes into his pit stall, Dave.
Rick, speaking of free, Joey Logano said during this run his car was sideways at times, so the Team Penske crew will go to work for him, changing 4 Goodyear tires and putting Sunoco fuel in there. You see the wrench in the rear window, pretty significant chassis adjustment for this former winner. Marty?
Dave, in the first stage, Kyle Busch ran into the top 10 by the end of the run, but on this run, not good at all. He said 2 to 3 numbers tight, and it got worse the longer they ran. He fell pretty far back in the field. Pits 21st, Kyle Busch. His teammate Denny Hamlin coming down pit road. Very few complaints about the 11 car. Obviously was able to keep the lead, even with a nice battle with Ryan Blaney. Said it got a little bit too tight. That was his biggest issue. The guy he was battling with, Ryan Blaney, said he chattered the fronts the entire run on that run. So Blaney going to make a change here. Right in front of him, Chase Elliott. They're kind of deciphering a little bit more narrow on the radio issue. The biggest problem is hearing his spotter, Eddie DeHaan. He can hear his crew chief, Alan Gustafson, fine. He told him to come to pit road. Chase said, I copied that right away. He said, I need more of that last change that you gave me. That'll help me. We're going the right direction. I need more.
Keep an eye on these guys blending. This is a track where we have seen guys join too soon. NASCAR warned all the drivers about that. Parker.
Tyler Reddick on pit lane here as well, trying to come back from having to come and fix a left front loose wheel under the stage brake. It's 4 tires just a little tight in the 8 cars. You see that adjustment happen in the right rear.
Tyler Reddick coming off of pit road, as is the 48 of Jimmy Johnson, also getting service. 10 drivers have won at this racetrack before, one of those being Jimmy Johnson.
As we see these cars leave pit road on the left side of your screen, Brad Keselowski still the leader with the 1 of Kurt Busch. We've seen this strategy before. We saw it really just last night in the Xfinity Series race. Ryan Sieg ran very, very long. He caught that yellow. Perfect timing, got all that track position. That's what Brad Keselowski and the 2 is hoping for right now. They can run, well, they've only run about 43 laps. They can run probably 20 more laps on fuel, so I'm sure he'll stay out. Now, when the leaders came to pit road, the 12, you can see right here, he has to get on the brakes to let the 18 go. So he turns in. That gave up a little bit of time for the 12 car. And then leaving, he had to go. Here's 2 looks of it. First, it starts with the 3. He had to check up to go by the 3. Then the 18 pulls out. He had to check up to let the 18 go. That little bit of time is all it took for the 11 to make a big gain. And then add on top of that, the 12 has to turn out around the 9 car. Jeff, that hurts both on entry and exit for Blaney. And that ends up being 10, 15, 20 car lengths on the racetrack.
Yeah, he did. He did a great job getting on pit road. He entered right on the rear bumper of Denny Hamlin, but those just two little small things cost him a ton of time. Hamlin was able to get out in front of him. Marty.
You talk about Jeremy Bolins, Brad Keselowski, and also Kurt Busch and Matt McCall making this call to stay out a little bit longer. I asked Matt McCall about that, and obviously it worked for them at Las Vegas. Remember, they flipped all the track position there when they made a long run like this. I asked McCall, would you do it today? He said, absolutely. It's been our calling card all year long. It's worked for us. They don't plan to come for another 15 laps or so while Brad Keselowski's on pit road in front of you, Dave.
And they called him in a lap before, Marty, but he couldn't get to pit road. There were too many slower cars blocking his way. So they made a chassis adjustment there, but not too big. A little tighter this run for Brad. Just fine-tuning on the 2 car. There's the Kansas boy, Clint Boyer from Emporia. He brings a 14 to pit road now. Crew going to work, trying to get him back out. The track, the car has been a little bit free today.
Jeremy Mullins and the 2-car changing strategies coming to pit road earlier. We just heard how long the 1 could stay out. Now the 1 is coming to pit road as well. I think they were just losing too much time. I think they thought they could run closer than the new tires. They were giving up over a second a lap. That kind of forced both of these cars to switch strategies. Now we have the 19 in his stall, Parker.
Correct, Steve. That's when the 19 team saw the two come down, they immediately said pit, pit, pit right now. They had to react to what Brad Keselowski did there. Just too loose to run up top for the 19, Marty.
Exactly right. As I was saying that the one could stand about 15 more laps, Matt McCall said, we might have to rethink that, because you're right, Steve. They were losing way too much time. I think the fall off for these Goodyear tires a little bit more than everybody expected. With the cool temperatures, maybe everybody thought they could run a little bit longer, but losing too much time on those older tires. Kurt Busch comes down pit road.
So now we still have Matty D, McDowell, Newman, LaJoie, and Ty Dillon. Top 5 yet to come to pit road. A little different strategy for some of these guys. They're trying to save a lap, Rick. But, you know, these were a lap down before the strategy started. Maybe not for Matty D, but I know the 32 and the 13 were a lap down.
Matt DiBenedetto announced that he will be back with Wood Brothers in 2021, and then it will be Austin Cindric that will take over that ride in 2022. You're watching the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs on NBC. This telecast presented by Coca-Cola as we go NASCAR nonstop from Kansas.
Who is USAA made for? It's made for this guy, a veteran who honorably served. And it's made for her. She's serving now. We made it for all branches and all ranks, whether they served one tour or made a career of it. We also made USAA for military spouses and their kids. USAA is easy to work with and can save you money on auto, home, and renter's insurance. Become a member today. Get an insurance quote at usaa.com/quote. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for.
I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. Garlic bacon butter. I'm excited. Garlic butter bacon burger. Junior garlic butter bacon burger. Junior garlic butter bacon burger. I just want it right now.
Today tastes like staying in. Like our go-to place. Tastes like anticipating. And a little bit like waiting. Today tastes like a piece of the action, and it never tasted this good.
Get a dozen double crunch shrimp for $1 with any steak entree, only at Applebee's.
I am legendary. The place where history is written in rubber.
Man, I tell you, it's a hard race to win.
A 200-mile-per-hour tribute to those who came before. A once-in-a-lifetime celebration of speed. I am only believed once seen. My sole purpose is to show you something unforgettable. I am the Great American Race. I am the Daytona 500. Sunday, February 14th. Tickets available now.
Getting geared during the playoffs, you can check out the greatest selection of t-shirts and hats, die-casts, much, much more. For all your favorite drivers, all you have to do, visit NASCAR.com/shop.
A lot of guys coming to pit road still as this cycle continues. Kevin Harvick had a real close call. The 13 coming to pit road gets up the racetrack a little bit here. So he's seeing wiggling race car, and Harvick has to get way out of the gas. Almost, watch this, off the roof. He almost hits the wall off turn 4.
Pitting in front of you. Say hi.
Pitting in front of you.
Good. As he's up the racetrack.
I bet Harvick had some words to say about that. Cost Harvick position. He fell behind Chase Elliott into 4th place. Way up in front of Chase is the 12 car. Not quite in 4th place. We haven't finished the cycle yet, but this will be battle for 3rd right here once all cars have cycled.
And Steve, I would guess these guys, there's 4 cars right now that haven't come to pit road. Within the next 5 laps, they have to, otherwise they'll run out of fuel.
Yeah, they're going to have to come to pit road, and there's a whole bunch of drivers that can't wait for it to happen. Reddick, Custer, Johnson, they're all trapped a lap down by these guys that have stayed on the racetrack. Parker.
Oh, guys, we talked about how Kevin Harvick may be struggling a little bit with that car being so trimmed out. Well, just before the green flag stops, take a listen to what he had to say on the radio.
Just needs a little bit of turn back. Not far off. I mean, I can't even make the corner when there's cars in front of me. Definitely made the traffic part way worse.
And that's the problem being trimmed out when the traffic's in front of you. It looks like Ronnie Childers and Kevin are maybe making a little headway here under these green flag stops, being able to gain up on the 9, but that is such a tough way to race, especially the rate at which a lot of these leaders are catching lappers. When you lose that nose, when you get that dirty air, it's a real problem.
Fastest car on the racetrack right now, Brad Keselowski, as he comes up on the back of this 4 car. Kevin Harvick, we know that he tried to run long on his pit strategy. Oh, we got a crash on the front straightaway. 42 car, Matt Kenseth around.
Kenseth gets it straightened back out again, but damage to that car, and you see the smoke rolling out as the caution has come out now. Just the 3rd caution of the day, but this is a first for incident after the competition caution on the end of stage 1.
And this unfortunate turn for the 42, a huge break for Matty D. He had yet to come to pit road. Him, the 6 of Ryan Newman, the 32 of Corey LaJoie will all save. Not coming under green, though. A couple of them will save a lap. The 21's going to gain some track position. Great call for the 21. Very unfortunate for the 42. I didn't see exactly what happened. When you called it, though, Dale was right below us. Well, that time I looked down, he was backwards.
Yeah, we'll have to take a look to see if we get...
A lot of damage to the left side of that car.
Yeah. There's some damage to the left side as well, where he was slid along the outside retaining wall, driver's side up against the fence. There's also some damage to the right front and the right rear. He's had some contact with either another car or the wall, and here he is. He's going to come up the racetrack, and I think he's not quite clear of Eric Jones here. And him and Eric both into the fence. Matt, just not clear.
It's actually some pretty hard damage for the 20. You mentioned Jones hit the fence as well, Junior. We'll have to keep an eye on the right side of the 20, see sheet metal damage or perhaps something else. The left side's crystal clear, but the right side's going to be the damage.
You see the nose caved in.
Take that back. The left side as well.
Yeah, he's hit hard with the right side there, so he's...
A lot of work to be done to that 20 car.
Car had a lot of pace early in the race, but he's had some struggles since they damaged the nose of that car on a restart.
It hasn't not been what we thought we would have seen from Matt Kenseth. They just have not had the pace we thought they would have. It's been a struggle.
Now, I mentioned the gamble of the guys that stayed on the racetrack. Great benefit for them. Unfortunately for Reddick, Custer, Johnson, Bubba Wallace, those guys that had yet to pit, trap those guys a lap down, Rick. So for everybody who's happy, someone else is disappointed. It's kind of like walking through the casino over there off turn 2. Parker.
You guys running there behind the 9 car. Kevin Harvick just complaining that the car was a bit too tight. He needs it to turn more, so they keep jumping back and forth between being too loose and being too tight in that 4 car. It's going to be 4 Goodyear tires, an adjustment for Kevin Harvick.
Parker, this is where the radio communication that you don't have for Chase Elliott just absolutely kills your day. Alan Gustafson said no more than 9 times, stay out, stay out, stay out. Chase Elliott couldn't hear him. He came down pit road anyway. Right side tires for Chase Elliott on a stop that they never wanted to make. And Alan Gustafson behind the box, not very happy, but that's the part of what's going on. They don't have radio communication with Chase right now.
That's the problem. They thought that the crew chief was being heard by Chase Elliott, but he didn't hear them there. NASCAR on NBC is brought to you by Coca-Cola. Together, tastes better. Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR. Perfect for race fans. And by Toyota. Well, from the start of the playoffs, we have been showcasing the 16 playoff drivers in their quest to win the NASCAR Cup. And as we head toward the championship week, we're also celebrating 16 pit crew all-stars and their very special stories and talents. For one of those, let's go down to pit road and Dave.
Rick, let's introduce you to a member of Bubba Wallace's 43 crew, David Crops, front-end mechanic on the team now, has had several jobs over his time, including interior mechanic, and Crops is from Mount Airy, North Carolina. Been in the sport now 18 years, been with several teams. And he says one of his favorite things, not only being at the racetrack, but also driving that big hauler right there. He's a backup hauler driver. He'll be needed soon coming up as the teams head to Phoenix. Talked to him earlier today. Crops said he lives in Mount Airy, was born and raised there, loves being in a small town about 45 minutes from the RPM shops. We're glad to call him one of our pit crew all-stars.
So important to the team. We'll continue showcasing pit crew all-stars between now and the championship week in Phoenix and continue telling their special stories. Marcus Horton, our front tire changer for the 2017, also a part of the pit crew all-stars.
What's crazy is these restarts have been see these guys right here. They're being waved around the pace car. They'll end up back on the lead lap, or maybe only one lap down, depending on their situation. But as crazy as these restarts have been already, they're going to drop the green flag on this one with only about 12 to go to the stage end. I expect it to get wild.
All right, before the green flag flies, let's check back in with Rutt and Bernard.
You know, Rick, we've heard a lot today about Chase, those communication issues. Bernard, for people who don't know, sometimes on NFL games, you can see it seems like one person's got a headset. Some people do hand signals. How did you guys communicate in the moment? And is it ever easy to get distracted on a big playoff like this?
Oh, definitely. I mean, the mic usually carries the headset. For me, as a strong safety on every team that I played on, I was the communicator, getting the sign language and everything. So when the headset goes down and you have to understand what coming in from the sideline, it's definitely hard. So to see that the communication errors right here, obviously they can't go to the spotters because they're definitely distracted. They can't really pay a lot of attention to what they're not hearing. So I think at the end of the day, you got to go back to what you know, racing and playing football. So he has to do what he does best, and that's race and go off instinct and what he's been watching film and just go out there and ball.
Unbelievable. I still can't believe, Rick, that you guys were debating whether or not he could change those earplugs. Bernard and I got to listen at the commercial break. That's the most exciting stuff I've heard between Jeff and Junior in a long time.
There's always battles up here in the booth, and that one was, well, it didn't actually happen. He didn't have to put those earplugs in. Maybe he will now, though.
Well, and to Bernard's point about hand signals, there are hand signals in NASCAR, Bernard. You know, Chase, if it gets to a point where he can't communicate at all, he can reach out and bang the door or bang the roof, loose or tight as he goes down the front stretch. Hopefully his crew chief can see him so we can understand what kind of adjustments his car is going to need. I've never had to go to that level, but I did have Junior black flagged one day at Watkins Glen because the next lap we were going to run out of fuel. That was our only option.
Have your own driver black flagged. I'm sure Junior.
NASCAR looks
that.
at you funny when you say, I want to black flag my car. What?
All right, getting ready for the restart. Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney making up row one. Again, it's going to be a sprint to the end of this stage. 11 laps to go in stage 2. Moving out of line, the 4 of Kevin Harvick.
He's got those new tires trying to make something happen here. Looks like Denny Hamlin's going to get clear. Not going to have anybody having to side draft him. Look at Harvick down here, though, 3 wide.
4 wide as they go into turn number 3.
See if he can make that work on the bottom under his teammate Clint Boyer.
And they're making some good ground here on the bottom of this racetrack. On the restart, usually the tie side's got the momentum, but with those tires, they're driving right up through this field.
Chase Elliott left the bottom available to Harvick.
Single file up top now is Chase Elliott, Kevin Harvick trying the bottom of the racetrack. Here comes Martin Truex Jr. in that 19 as well.
And all these crew chiefs are taking note. This is kind of dress rehearsal for later in the race. How valuable are tires? With 9 cars, only has 2 tires. The 4 of Kevin Harvick also came to pit road and changed tires. He put 4 tires on, so you're watching as they're easily right around the white line passing those cars.
Oh, the 88's going to stay out there. Just is not clearing.
What does Harvick do right here? Does he stay on the outside of the 9? Yeah,
absolutely.
He does.
He's got to get around this 9 car who has the new tires as well.
Now push that 88. 9's dragging him back, trying to side draft. You can see the 88 getting in front of him. That's what that is. That's just a side draft from the 9.
And he pushed that 88 up there almost into an opportunity to try to take away second place from Blaney. Blaney gets the push off the 88, who then pushes the leader away. Still side by side here between the 4 and the 9. The 1's going to come up here and help the 4 through.
Yeah, when the 1 got right there, it actually slowed the 9 down and it accelerated the 4 all at the same time. Now Kevin Harvick on the bottom of Bowman.
What happens here, though? Will Bowman side draft Kevin and slow him down? He's going to go down there and look for him.
Kevin needs to clear him in 1 and 2. If not, he'll get hung up on the bottom, and Chase Elliott will try to take advantage of it. Harvick's going to clear him.
Yeah, Harvick's clear off of turn 2. He's going to get a shove by the 88 now down the back straightaway. Harvick's going to have to go somewhere here. He's going to go to the top. Blaney's almost to the quarter panel of the leader, Denny Hamlin here.
What kind of a run is Kevin Harvick going to get now as he comes down the front stretch? He's going to look for second.
He's got a great run. He's going to clear Blaney. into second place.
Inside of 6 laps to go. Denny Hamlin out front. Kevin Harvick running second.
Now what does Denny do? Denny's been running the bottom. That's been good enough to beat Blaney. It will not be good enough now. He's going to have to move around and change his line a little bit. Going to the middle of the racetrack. Up the racetrack in front of the 4 car to take his line away, take his run away.
Similar to the same thing we saw Chase Elliott do early in the race. Take the middle, make Harvick guess where he wants to go. Harvick's trying to decide where Hamlin's going to go. Hamlin to the bottom, Harvick to the middle.
All right, this should give Harvick the momentum off the corner. Doesn't get quite a big enough run, but it's going to grow down the back straightaway.
Again, guessing, where does Hamlin go?
See that little fake he gave him? He had a little bob to the bottom, hoping to draw that 11 car to the bottom of the racetrack. It didn't happen, but he's going to have a pretty good momentum here down the front straightaway. Now he's just almost pushing this 11 car along.
Pushing right on the bumper of Harvick.
Oh, Harvick, a little bobble right there.
Still good momentum off of 2.
He can drive right up to this particular point, and then he pushes the lead car away. He needs a bit stronger run off the corner to be able to make a pass.
Hamlin tight off of 4 right here. Going to have a big run from Harvick. What's he going to do with it?
Harvick kind of push him away right here. It's a little beach ball in between these 2 cars. Kevin needs a bigger run off the corner. He needs that 11 car to struggle somewhere for grip.
2.5 laps to go.
See if Harvick shows you something. If Harvick shows you something different, goes to the bottom. Here, yep, that's what he's going to do. No, Hamlin took it. It's so much fun watching these guys try to anticipate where the other is going to go. You got to go the opposite.
They pulled away from Blaney now with 2 laps to go in stage 2. These two continuing to fight it out for the stage 2 win.
And Harvick's got a pretty good run right here. Down the back straightaway.
Thinking of Harvick, I go to the white line right here.
Oh, he feints.
See that little bit of a
feints?
Yeah, he did, but it hurts his speed actually when he gives that fake out.
Oh, they almost both get into the fence there off turn 4. Harvick's going to get a little closer right here.
Final lap.
Oh, Harvick, big commitment to the top. 11 coming up the racetrack, off turn 2. Good run for the 4 car down the back straightaway. 11's going to the bottom. This may be the opportunity for Harvick up high.
Keeps his momentum up. Now coming out of turn 4, crossing over, trying to go low. The 11 goes down to the apron. The 4 follows him. Denny Hamlin's going to win the stage.
What a battle between the 2 heavyweights. The most wins on the season. Hamlin and Harvick, we've seen them battle so often. That was just stage 2, Rick.
That was a lot of fun.
That was the 10th stage win for Denny Hamlin. And what a race it was. The 2 best in the series in 2020 fighting it out for stage 2. Chase Elliott won stage 1. Now Denny Hamlin has won stage 2. Who wins the race? Tonight, Sunday Night Football on NBC. Division rivals are going to square off here in Donald. The Rams visiting George Kittle and the 49ers in Levi's Stadium. The coverage begins with Football Night in America at 7 p.m. Eastern. NASCAR Cup Series playoffs on NBC. This telecast presented by Coca-Cola.
Who you like tonight, Rick? The Rams or the 49ers?
I'm going to say home team. I'm going to go 49ers. Even though the Rams have won the last 2 games, maybe a little bit of momentum, but we'll go with the home team.
Okay, good. I'll take the Rams. You can buy me dinner.
Toyota driver update as we look at Denny Hamlin winning stage 2. 18 points earned today. That's the most. Again, you get points for finishing in the top 10 of each stage. Denny Hamlin 18. Chase Elliott, after winning the first stage, finishes up with 16 points from those 2 stages. Dave.
If you're Alex Bowman running fourth, you want to be able to trust your Chevy Camaro. Right now he says, I don't trust the back end of the car. Has to drive it into the corner much straighter than he'd like to. They'll make an air pressure adjustment to try to get that more compliant for this driver, Parker.
Kevin Harvick, the center of your screen there. Love the balance on that short run, but Rodney asked him what we'll do on the long run. He said it will get too loose, so you'll see them put the track bar down to the right rear there and 4 Goodyear tires. Marty.
Boy, Parker, give a call to Chris Lambert, the spotter for Denny Hamlin. Outstanding job guiding Hamlin to the stage win there. Denny said I could be a touch tighter on entry and a little bit freer in the center. I know what we're dealing with. 4 fresh Goodyear tires. They will not win the race off pit road. And also, Rick, a couple of cars stayed out as well.
And 2 tire stops for Logano and Almirola, gaining 12 spots apiece for that little pit strategy. Two stages complete in the Hollywood Casino 400 from Kansas Speedway. And that means just one final stage to go. We are very excited to be back at the racetrack, and it's fun to have the track that we're at behind us now after we spent so many weeks at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and we appreciate that. But great to be back here at the track, and it was great to see, and I'll bring the drivers in right away, that battle for the lead to end stage 2.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I think looking further down the road here in this race, I'm really curious of what kind of race are we going to get. Are we going to get short runs or long runs? And I think that's going to have a huge variable in who can win this race or not. Some cars are really fast early and some cars are fast later. Who's that advantage going to fall into?
Yeah, and it's not really clear what cars are the favorites to win this race. We've kind of seen a little bit of everybody up front, and nobody's running away by big chunks in leading this race. We see kind of the top 5 cars hovering around each other within a straightaway of each other, at least, even on the long runs. So hard to tell who's going to win or who the favorite is to win at this point.
Yeah, I'm really going to focus on that 9 car. Chase Elliott has that communication issue with his crew chief, Alan Gustafson. They pitted once. They didn't want to pit. They're having issues. Chase can't hear them very well. He's led almost 50 laps today. One of the playoff cars. He's in position, and I think he has the car that can win the race, Rick, but how much will communication hamper their efforts?
Let's quickly check in with Parker.
Well, guys, Martin Truex Jr. started the back at the beginning of this race and went through the field very quickly into the top 10. Then we noted that he lacked ability to get tape on the front of that car. Well, it happened again. So you see that big piece of orange tape does on the nose. That's because the team is trying to make up for 3 stops of not being able to get tape on the front of that race car. And as we all know, that's free speed to getting that tape on there.
Free speed. Every driver wants that. Every team wants that.
Lights are back on the pace car, Rick. We won't go this time. You see on the front row there, the 18 of Kyle Busch. He chose not to come to pit road. We're hearing they're kind of been fighting a little bit of damage on the nose of that race car, maybe a hole. That's what Marty was telling us during commercial break. Marty, you see a lot of green tape on the upper grill. Is that, I'm guessing that's the damage? I don't know. It's hard to tell.
How about the silver tape on the left front, Steve? That's the one that they focused on, trying to get the tape to stick. They have the same problem as their teammate. They can't get the tape to stick on the front of that 18 car. Meanwhile, for Chase Elliott, the plan of what they're going to do if Chase cannot hear the team continues. Take a listen to some radio.
Like when you wave it at me, or as I'm coming to the box, you mean?
We'll wave it at you to pit, so that will signify pitting, caution, or green. And then we'll have L or R on the side if it's 2. If it's 4, there'll be nothing.
So that's the latest communication, Steve. They're going to wave the sign if they want Chase Elliott with a hand out the window so that he can see or hear or know that the team wants him to come to pit road. So that's what they're going to do, is wave it under green. I don't know how hard that would be to do, Steve, or Jeff, how hard that would be to see on the racetrack.
Yeah, I can't tell you how hard it will be to see on the racetrack, but it's always the simplest things, right? You just assume that communication will be there, coming up with a plan. I don't have a better idea, so let's see if it works.
We'll want to take a look at today's Ram trucks built to serve.
Restarts, Rick, they've been crazy. We're going to get another one here. Will we go 101? I doubt it. I think we're going to see a bunch of them, guys.
Yeah, points are going to matter with the start of the round of 8. You got to have good stage ends. With those over now, it's all about a good finish in the race.
All the playoff drivers are having pretty good races today, but will a non-playoff driver get up there and steal the win away?
Be a playoff spoiler. Field approaching the Geico restart zone. Kyle Busch last came to pit road on lap 145. He's leading the field. Logano, Almirola, Bowman, Hamlin. Pretty good shove here from Eric Almirola behind the 18. Pushes Kyle Busch out front.
Blaney gets to the outside of the 9 car. They're 3 wide back there. Now he's going to the outside of Denny Hamlin.
Logano cleared that front row. It looked like Almirola was pushing Kyle Busch so hard that it was messing his car up. Couldn't stay in the gas in the middle of 1 and 2.
So Blaney's going to make it 4 wide.
Kurt Busch on the inside of that 4 wide as they exited turn 4. No contact, but very close between the 1 and the 9 there.
Harvick all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack to battle for second with Kyle Busch down into turn 1. He's going to clear that 18 into second place.
Kevin Harvick, a big run with his Ford Mustang as he is chasing after Logano. And now here comes Alex Bowman looking at the inside of the 18.
Harvick wants this lead in the worst way. We've seen his car fall off on long runs. Clean air would make that better. Take some pressure off those tires. If he can get this lead early, that would help him.
18 car pushes that 88 all the way up to the back of the 4 car of Kevin Harvick. Fan out down into turn 1 through turn 2.
Harvick all over the 22.
The 22.
Logano blocking. It was all the way to the white line almost.
For the
Harvick
lead.
cleared him.
Harvick's got it. Harvick out front at Kansas.
And that block the 22 Logano put on the 4 car really stalled the 22 car out. Took a lot of speed out of that 22 car, and Harvick was able to drive right around him. 18 car, though, fighting back on the inside of the 88 for third. Kyle Busch is going to clear. Get that car toward the front of the field into some cleaner air, and we're seeing some good speed in this Toyota.
Brad making it 3 wide. Cleared both of them. Big run off of 2, just turned left, cleared both of them.
Harvick out front, Logano, Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, Alex Bowman, Kurt Busch, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr. all in the top 10.
We've seen all of our guys that have been up front, except for the 11 and the 9, work their way through some of these cars toward the front of the pack. The 11 car, Denny Hamlin, kind of stuck where he's at, trying to run that high side. The 9 car, Chase Elliott, also back in traffic, not able to move forward. He's fighting in a mess back there.
And Kurt's committed to that bottom. Look at him side draft Keselowski. He's really made the bottom work. In the early part of the corner, he just dives under there and is able to make a lot of ground up. But if he doesn't clear these cars, this is what happens down the back straightaway and the front straightaway. They get such a run.
And Chase Elliott is struggling. I'm watching him down the back straightaway. And passed by Matt DiBenedetto, real tight off of turn 2.
Kurt's able to clear Brad that time.
There's Chase right there. Something's wrong with this 9 car. He's kind of been blocking these guys, trying to get clear. Watch this 9 car replay, shows some of the issues he's having. And he's trying to block the 21 car down into turn 1. Gets up off the bottom, loses a lot of grip right there. The 19 on the outside is going to go around, loses speed down the back straightaway. 14 car and him, I believe, made contact. Ooh, it's very close. Upsets the back of that car. He has to lift again. Now he's blocking more. Trying to get a push off the nose of the 21. Now he's clear of those guys. Let's see if he can work his way back toward the front. Not really had the car that he likes on new tires. Not been able to fire off all day long, but he comes on the long run. The 2 car around the 18 here.
Keselowski easily gets by the 18 of Kyle Busch.
It's really interesting, guys, how these cars, you know, for a lap or 2, they don't seem like they run well, then they all of a sudden run well. I mean, we just saw Kurt drive by the 2 car. Then 2 laps later, Brad just takes the spot back.
Side by side, Penske drivers fighting for position. That's for second. We're going to go NASCAR nonstop. You won't miss a thing.
Today tastes like a home game, like a huddle. Tastes like we're bringing the heat, and like a front row seat. Today tastes like we're a team, and it never tasted this good.
Optimum Internet. It's more than just fast. It keeps all your devices running smoothly. With built-in security that protects your kids, no matter what they're up to. Protects your info, and gives you 24/7 peace of mind. That if it's connected, it's protected. Even that pet camera thingy. Can your internet do that? Xfinity XFi can, because it's simple, easy, awesome.
Xfinity, proud premier partner of NASCAR.
Go on a real vacation. Visit GoRVing.com or your nearest RV dealer.
Who is USAA made for? It's made for this guy, a veteran who honorably served. And it's made for her. She's serving now. We made it for all branches and all ranks, whether they served one tour or made a career of it. We also made USAA for military spouses and their kids. USAA is easy to work with and can save you money on auto, home, and renters insurance. Become a member today. Get an insurance quote at usaa.com/quote. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for.
Introducing Wendy's new Pretzel Bacon Pub Cheeseburger. Nothing will distract you from the pretzel bun and beer cheese. Not even all the comments on the pic you posted of your Pretzel Bacon Pub Cheeseburger. Download the app to order ahead and get Wendy's rewards.
I am the future, but I am happening right here, right now. I am where names you know become names you'll remember forever. Names etched in metal, in memory. What name will we speak of long after this? I am going to show you. I am the NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs. Names are made here.
A massive development here at Kansas Speedway. Denny Hamlin, who had just won stage 2 with 86 laps to go, got into the wall, battling for 5th. You saw it all in NASCAR nonstop. Immediately, Denny said, I've got to come to pit road. He had a right rear tire going down, and man, you can see it right on that FedEx Express logo. The damage to the right rear for Hamlin, who was indeed trying to win for the first time here in round number 8, or round of 8 to advance to the championship 4. Had one of the best cars today, but obviously had to make an unscheduled pit stop for a right rear tire after making contact with the wall, Rick.
Yeah, guys, take another look at this. We saw it as we were in NASCAR nonstop, but one of the playoff favorites tagging the wall coming out of 4.
Yeah, just trying to stay in the throttle, and that looked like to me just got tight on the exit of turn 4 and just couldn't get it slowed down enough. Had Kyle Busch right behind him, and you can see all the damage.
And
hard racing.
Hit hard with the right front. Typically, if you hit with the right rear, you should be okay, but he hit hard with both ends of the race car. Could have damaged the suspension on the right front, and also, had they cleared it, I know we don't see any tire smoke, but that would be my concern as the driver behind the wheel of that car are the tires cleared of the damage?
You see the lettering staying on those right side tires. The Goodyears, you can see the yellow lettering. So potentially they have cleared it. But Denny Hamlin, yeah, he's a lap down now.
Yeah, the last car, 1 lap down in 29th place. Still a salvageable day.
We now invite you to the fast lane, brought to you by Coca-Cola. Joe Logano still out in front of Ryan Blaney, but Blaney with a pretty good run now. Denny Hamlin on the left side of your screen fighting back after hitting the wall coming off of turn 4. Now a lap down, having to come to pit road to fix that damage.
Wow, Blaney 22 racing pretty hard. You'd never know they were teammates.
Denny Hamlin going by Ty Dillon in that 13. Well, let's hear from celebrity chef Robert Irvine with a special message from Coca-Cola to support your favorite restaurants on race day.
Few things are better than sitting down on race day with your favorite ordered-in meal and a Coke to watch your favorite drivers. Wings and a Coke, or nachos and a Coke, or a big juicy burger and a Coke. They all go great with NASCAR. Of course, as we all know, some of our favorite local restaurants are really hurting right now. But we're all in this together, and together, we can make a difference. Pick up the phone, get online, order in or take out, and don't forget to add an ice-cold Coke to wash it all down. Let's do everything we can to help out the restaurants that help make race day taste so good. Because together tastes better, even when we can't really be together. Cheers.
So Denny Hamlin fighting. He has moved up to the second car that has scored a lap down behind Eric Jones. So even if a caution comes out right now, he's still not going to be able to get the free pass. Marty?
And that's the objective for Denny Hamlin, is to be able to get and pass his teammate Eric Jones to put himself with the first car one lap down and then get the free pass if a caution were to come out. Chris Lambert came on the radio, said, I'm pretty happy with the pictures, the way it looks. In other words, he's seen some pictures of what the right side damage looks like. He's happy with that. Denny has not reported a vibration in the car, so that's good as well. And lap time, since they put on these new tires, pretty good. So Hamlin not out of the ball game yet, but obviously in a bad situation now, sitting 28th, the second car one lap down.
You see the points on the left side of your screen. You know, Denny Hamlin, a playoff favorite coming in here, now just 24 points above the line. So that definitely comes into play if he's not able to get that lap back. Right now, he's stuck back in the 28th position.
Yeah, so you see the points that this has cost him. Now, the flip side, you see how many points he had coming in. All that hard work, the race wins, the stage wins over the course of the regular season, definitely helping him out. And, Steve, the 18 points that he got in the first two stages, definitely helping out in this race because of what happened here. Yeah, that's what we've learned about stage racing. While, you know, you still want to have good runs, a successful first half of the race can assure that points-wise, you at least have an okay day if something happens in the second half. Let's get a few more updates. We'll start with Dave on Alex Bowman.
Took me right where I wanted to go there, Steve did, talking about points on the day. That's what they did to get through to this round, and they started the day again well. 12 stage points earned already for Alex Bowman, fourth most stage points earned in the playoffs in 2020. The car has been just a little bit ill-handling. In fact, on that restart, he lost several positions before he gathered it back up, has now made his way back up to 6th, Marty.
Dave, what a nice recovery for Kurt Busch, sitting in 7th, had that speeding penalty early on, had to come and serve that penalty, started way in the back of the pack, then came through the pack, now up in the top 10, and had a funny comment about the car earlier in the race. Take a listen.
What did he say there, buddy? Another mood change. Well, he said another mood change, not him, the car.
It's funny when the car goes through a mood change. Kurt Busch pretty happy with it and in a good mood himself, Parker.
Well, for Martin Truex Jr., it's not all laughing, fun and games there on the 19. It's when it comes to the tape situation. We told you early in the race how they lost the tape, were not able to get the stick. Then it happened again. Well, guess what? They put that big piece on the last stop. It fell off again, and we have watched Martin Truex get within the top 10 and sort of stall out speed-wise. It just looks like he doesn't quite have the speed. Well, it's happening again, losing that tape, Marty.
And Parker, just as we were talking about Kurt Busch, listen on the radio, he said, I'm losing power. So Kurt Busch, one of the championship contenders, says, I'm losing power. They asked him if he could flip a switch inside the car. He said he had already tried that, but obviously an electrical or a power issue with Kurt Busch going on right now on the track, guys.
All the vitals are fine. Got engine trouble.
All the vitals are fine. So your miss can be fuel, it can be electrical. So flip the switch. Perhaps they want to go from one battery to the second, like it was down on voltage. Normal temps, normal oil pressure. He's going to do all the different diagnostics to the engine. At some point, the crew might ask him to go through a different page. You see that digital dash in front of him. There's different pages he can go through that will record different items, things that aren't needed for every lap or everyday racing, but in these situations could help them, you know, diagnose if this is an issue they can work on.
And Steve, on the pit box, they can see certain things from this car, but they can't see anything that's vital with what's going on right here.
Yeah,
right?
very, very general. They can see throttle position, steering wheel position, things like that. Not a lot of vitals for the engine itself. They need the driver to relay that information at, I don't know, 170 miles per hour with traffic all around you.
What's a shame is he was having a good day, running in 7th. Had good speed all day.
And Jeff, they just asked him to switch the page and give him the bio code. So, Steve, that's a lot to do for a driver. You mentioned at 170 miles an hour, you'll see Kurt reach down in a moment. He's going to flip that page. They told him to go to page 3 and tell us what that number says. So he's got to do all this while he's trying to drive and stay on the racetrack.
Well, there you go. Just like your dash of the car at home, you have different settings for the front. You see the things on the screen changing.
Page 3, what number do you have? There should be 2 bio statuses on there. Give me, just read those off, please. I got point 8.
So all of those different codes right there, they're something for the Hendrick engine department, right? So I don't know what they mean. The crew chief perhaps doesn't even know. He's talking to or communicating with the engine department, wanting to know what information. But
Denny Hamlin, he was the first one with an issue, playoff driver. Now the one, and it looks like the engine goes away for.
I don't need the digital dash to tell me that this is terminal for the one car. Smoke out the pipes.
Detonated. You just heard it. Kurt Busch. A huge hit now for him to advance into the championship 4.
And only the 3rd car out today, so on a day where not many are having problems, it's the worst day to have a really, really bad day. It's just going to have a horrible finish.
Already being scored 48 points down.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate, as you put it, Jeff. You know, the race team, they showed up, they put a good car underneath Kurt Busch. He did such a nice job all day, and then right here you see, what was it, maybe 5 or 10 laps off the pace, and then a big terminal failure for the engine.
Yeah, let's listen to this engine hand grenades down into turn 1. See a little bit of fluid coming out of that car. Him trying to correct the back end as it's sliding around.
So Kurt Busch now more than likely will be in a must-win situation, as the next 2 races will be Texas Motor Speedway and Martinsville.
This is what makes this playoffs just so difficult. You work all year long to get here, and then you only have 3 races. Now, the one great thing is the win and you're in, right? So no matter how many points he gets behind, the door is still not closed. A guy that can win, he can win at Martinsville, he can win at Texas. He's proven he's a winner. I mean, a champion in the sport.
Yeah, his hopes here have evaporated today, but like you say, Steve, they go into the next race. They don't have to worry about stage points. They can just call that race to win. That takes out a lot of, I think, stress for everybody, including the crew chief, on what strategy they'll go with to try to win those races.
What's really frustrating is when a team has engine failures, you know, they get their engines from Hendrick. It's really nothing that they can do, right? It feels like it's out of your control, and that's a worst thing for a driver, a crew chief, is to feel like they don't have control over a situation.
And this caution comes out at a very precarious time at 68 laps to go.
Just a little outside their window?
Well, yeah, we were thinking 60 to 63. Teams usually have a couple laps in their pocket that they don't tell me about. So if you assume they could stretch it to 65, they'll pit with 67 to go. You know, will someone risk it? Well, I think the answer is definitely somebody will risk it, but will they make it? Will it be a playoff guy? Does this give the advantage to the non-playoff guys, as pit road is still closed, I believe, so one more lap closer to their fuel window.
When the caution came out, Denny Hamlin was not in the free pass position. It was still Eric Jones, so more than likely it'll be Eric Jones that gets the free pass, and Denny Hamlin will still be stuck a lap down.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very hard for Hamlin to take the wave around just because he's outside the fuel window. I assume they're going to pit and maybe try to race for the free pass, but we'll see. Chris Gabehart and the 11 crew might say, you know what, let's take the wave around right now, get back in the lead lap and hope for another yellow. We'll just have to see which option they kind of pick here.
That'll put him in a position where he'll have to come to pit road a little bit later. Let's listen in to the 11 communications.
I did have a tire rub, right? Yeah, it was a good call, for sure.
Sounds like Denny Hamlin questioning whether he had to come to pit road right away. The crew chief confirming that, hey, man, it was the right. I know you didn't want to come to pit road, Marty, but Chris Gabehart telling Denny Hamlin it was the right call at that moment.
Well, and Chris Gabehart just told Denny, we don't have a choice here. We have to take the wave around. So they're going to take the wave around. And according to Gabehart, he says everyone who pits here should be able to make it to the end. So that's his calculation of things. But Denny Hamlin going to take the wave around here, put himself back on the lead lap at least, and then they'll see where they can play the game from there.
So Denny Hamlin was last on pit road at lap 179. So, you know, he's basically going to be about 20 laps short on fuel, give or take a few. So he's going to take the wave around, get on the lead lap, and then you know if everybody else can make it, if we get to 20 to go and we haven't seen the yellow, he'll have to pit under green. But we'll just have to see how it works out. It seems like Chris has a pretty good sense of the situation. Dave, everybody on pit road.
Talking about packing full of fuel, saving me gas. Top of your screen, second place, Brad Keselowski. 4 Goodyear tires did not agree with him last time. They're going to change those out and fill it full of Sunoco fuel. Middle of your screen, Alex Bowman said you need to improve my front turn, then make an adjustment for that and get every drop of Sunoco fuel in they can, Parker.
Kevin Harvick said the balance was great with no traffic in front of them, so they're just going to add a little tape and air pressure adjustment for the 4. And Rodney told him, save fuel, which is really tight.
Coming off pit road, it looks like Kevin Harvick is going to win that race. The 18, Kyle Busch, grabbing a couple spots. Blaney will hold on to 3rd. Logano grabs 2 as well. You're watching NASCAR Cup Series playoffs on NBC. This telecast presented by Coca-Cola. An early exit for Kurt Busch.
Lost Speedway is a Peacock original documentary series hosted by myself and Matthew Dillner. We go across the country uncovering lost cathedrals of the past. They're in your own communities, and we uncover them and tell their stories. All episodes streaming for free. Sign up at peacocktv.com, and Peacock Now is available on Roku.
Junior, by the way, congratulations to you and Amy.
Hey, thank you, man.
Nicole Lorraine joined your family, so now Isla has a little sister that she will grow up with.
Yep, pretty awesome week.
Very exciting for your family.
How's the sleep going?
And
well, Mama's tired. Mama is tired.
Yeah, well, thinking about you, Amy. And let's go down to Marty, who's with Kurt.
Well, Rick, what a tough way to end it for Kurt Busch here at Kansas. They had the speeding penalty earlier, came back from that. We're running in the almost top 5 there, Kurt. Any indication before that? It seemed like it happened all of a sudden that the engine started to go.
Yeah, usually there's no warning. Everything is so buttoned up these days in the engine department, and wow, I haven't seen an engine problem in years. So, you know, no fault of anybody at Hendrick Engines. We're running hard here. We're running top 5, and there's a ton of RPM down the front straightaway with the tailwind. And we were right in the mix. You know, we were doing the deal. Just couldn't quite clear some guys to get into like that top 3, 4. And then our car would come back to us on the long run after about lap 30. But it's a shame for everybody at Chip Ganassi Racing. Having an engine failure in the playoffs, it's just like a huge parachute that slows you up. And so, you know, we'll pack that parachute up, throw it away, and we'll go to Texas to win. I mean, we knew we were going to have to win either here or Texas. Martinsville, we got a shot at it too. But, you know, the odds were stacked against us. But, hey, we're in the top 8 for a reason. And I got a great crew chief, Matt McCall. We'll bounce back. But thanks to Monster, Gear Wrench, Chevrolet, it's just one of those things where you have an engine failure and there's nothing we can do about it.
And Kurt brings up a great point. With the cooler weather, all of this wind, you never know. That could have certainly been a factor today, Rutledge.
Yeah, that's for sure, Marty. It's so fun to get to watch this race with Bernard Pollard Jr. Bernard, for people that saw you play in the NFL, you know, this year we've seen Harvick and Hamlin be those 2 guys that are just almost impossible, it feels like, to beat. What were those teams like for you that you always felt like you were chasing?
It's funny we got to keep talking about football because that's how I put this thing together. But to look at the Indianapolis Colts when they were ran by Peyton Manning, and to look at the New England Patriots under Tom Brady, that fast-paced offense, when you see these 2 legends, Harvick and Hamlin, they've dominated. They've been out there, and when you try to keep them down, when you see them get out ahead, you know good and well it's no chance of passing them. And they call Harvick the closer for a reason. So same thing with that Indianapolis offense behind Manning. It was awesome.
This is awesome, buddy. Thanks for joining us, Rick. We're ready for more.
I can tell. I love it. Guys on the edge of your seats, and the crowd here standing up. I think the aluminum seats might be a little bit cold here. The Again, great to see fans back at the racetrack. Getting ready for the restart. Kevin Harvick on the outside, Kyle Busch on the inside. 62 laps to go. Big move to the inside, the 22. That almost looks like Talladega, the way they fan out there.
They put Kyle Busch in the middle, just like at Talladega. He falls back a few rows. I was sitting there thinking, man, this 18 car might be in a position to win this race, sitting now on even tires with everybody. He's lost about 4 spots right there.
And that Clint Boyer in that yellow-white car, hometown race, really lost a lot of ground right there. Got put in the middle, getting into turn 1.
He jinxed him. Sorry.
Emporia, Kansas right now is excited for Clint Boyer, but obviously when he fell back there just a bit, they're cheering for him. See if he can get him back up front.
Up front, the Penske cars are lined up against the 88.
Big
Chevrolet.
shove there.
Yeah.
Again, I think it's a major advantage for Kevin Harvick to be out front. He's got clean air. That's going to help his car in the long run. He's not abusing his tires like some of these guys are in the back, battling for position.
24 and 88 teammates, and Hendrick battling down into turn 3. Almost had contact. William Byron had to lift. It's going to cost him a lot of speed here.
Martin Truex Jr. jumping on the outside of Matty D.
Matt's having a great run today. We haven't talked about him much in this 21 car, but he's been kind of hovering right around the backside of this top 10 for the Wood brothers. Great battle right here. Brad Keselowski, I think he has the car that can go up there, contend with Kevin Harvick if he can get clear of his teammates, but I don't know about that. They've got speed as well. It's been hard for the 2 car to work his way through traffic. He has great speed and pace.
See Logano in front of the other Penske cars. I feel like his car on a long run falls off a little bit more than that 2 car.
And Brad's clear now. He's going to get a little push off the 12.
See Eric Jones on pit road in the 20. A little bit of smoke. You see the right side damage there, maybe a little tire rub.
2 car Brad Keselowski closing in on second place. Joey Logano, inch by inch. Where will he go to create some momentum? To the middle of the racetrack in that 2 car. Joey running the bottom. It's not going to have quite enough speed off the corner. Brad will have a little more speed down here and down the back straightaway. Closes the gap even more. Half a car length.
Penske organization looking well there as we saw Logano, Keselowski, and Blaney all together. Here's Chase Elliott under attack now from the 19 of Martin Truex Jr.
Yeah, Chase just made a really good move. Actually passed the 21 and the 19 all down the back straightaway. A little bit further back in the pack, Denny Hamlin, Cole Custer. You see all the cars bunched up right after the restart. The car in the middle, Denny Hamlin going to the top. Custer just was not expecting him to go there that quickly. And then here's Boyer. See right there, he got put in the middle, then contact with Matty D, and now he's just lost all his momentum, and here they come. Watch this right here.
2 by 2, looking low, inside, 3 right here in the middle. 4 right, 3 right, 3 right, 3 right here in the middle.
That's how quickly it happens. Parker.
Well, guys, we see Martin Truex trying to get to the back bumper there of Chase Elliott. He just came across the radio and said this thing has no speed, and we've documented how they have not been able to get tape to stick to the front end. They finally got a bit there, but they're so behind these other cars, and when you look at these cars on these restarts, they're flat out, and that tape can be worth tenths of a second per lap, and it just seems like the 19 has not been able to add as much as they need to keep speed with the other leaders right now.
Steve, I want to take a look at today's Xfinity fastest lap, and it surprises me, I think, that everyone on here ran their fastest lap either on lap 33 or 34.
Well, we know this aero package drafting matters, and it was a perfect storm at lap 34. A single file group catching another single file group, very clean laps. and you see the fastest lap so far. Put in perspective, Logano's lap about 0.2 of a second faster than when Harvick just ran on this restart. It shows how much traffic can change the lap times.
Battle continues between the Penske drivers. We're going to go NASCAR nonstop. You won't miss a thing.
This November, the stands here won't be filled with screaming fans, but they'll still be shaking. Don't miss horse racing's ultimate international event, the Breeders' Cup World Championships from historic Keeneland. The whole world will be watching and wagering as the sport's greatest stars battle for 14 World Championship titles. So get ready for the Breeders' Cup, live November 6th and 7th, only on NBC Sports.
Awesome internet. It's more than just fast. It keeps all your devices running smoothly. With built-in security that protects your kids, no matter what they're up to. Protects your info, and gives you 24/7 peace of mind. That if it's connected, it's protected.
Here's one treat.
Even that pet camera thingy. Can your internet do that? Xfinity XFi can, because it's simple, easy, awesome.
Xfinity, proud premier partner of NASCAR.
Time to make your disappointing breakfast your X-Fist, because Wendy's has your new breakfast love. With a fresh cracked egg on every sandwich and crispy oven-baked bacon, you'll be telling everybody about the new breakfast you're seeing at Wendy's. Hurry in for the breakfast of your dreams today.
Who is USAA made for? It's made for this guy, a veteran who honorably served. And it's made for her. She's serving now. We made it for all branches and all ranks, whether they served one tour or made a career of it. We also made USAA for military spouses and their kids. USAA is easy to work with and can save you money on auto, home, and renter's insurance. Become a member today. Get an insurance quote at usaa.com/quote. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for.
Go on a real vacation. Visit GoRVing.com or your nearest RV dealer. Mondays, new superstars, new rivalries. Must be a new Monday.
The landscape is going to change forever.
Monday Night Raw, season premiere Monday, live on USA.
Every year we come in to win another championship. That's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me training. That's what wakes me up every day to try and go out and be the best. To be in a position to go for number 6 feels great.
Wins in Texas. Scott Dixon wins. Scott Dixon, the winner.
Next Sunday on NBCSN, round of 8 is going to continue. NASCAR Cup Series playoffs, another chance to win, clinch a spot in the championship 4. Remember, Kevin Harvick, he has won the last 3 playoff races at Texas, as we see the 8 making his way onto pit road now.
He's made some contact.
Yep, Tyler Reddick has brought the caution out.
You see the damage on the car right there.
Huge break for Denny Hamlin here.
That's a great point. Got the wave around, back on the lead lap. Now he can come down and get even on tires.
Even on tires, and you know he's probably going to be the last car anyway, so now they can take their time and repair this thing to whatever level they feel they can improve it. His pace wasn't great right there, but you don't know if he's just kind of cruising, right, guys? Like he knows he's not going to unlap himself or drive through the entire field. He has to come and take fuel.
Let's see what happens to Tyler Reddick. There's inner turn 3, just right against the wall, and just gets on the wall and never can get off of it.
Jeff, you talked about how you need to enter high to make the most speed up there. You think he's getting a little aggressive there?
Yeah,
his entry.
It wouldn't surprise me with Tyler Reddick. Push the edge. That's what he does. That's what makes him good. Sometimes he pays the price for it.
That's how he won a couple championships, running right along the wall at Miami to end the seasons in the Xfinity Series.
NASCAR threw the caution. I know he didn't hit the wall very hard, but he had come to almost a complete stop off turn 4. Giving NASCAR not much choice there to throw a yellow.
All right, now it's decision time. All these drivers think they can make it on fuels. We see Kevin Harvick shutting his off, saving some gas. But do you think you need tires? 20 laps on these tires, 16 of them are green. So I don't know if Harvick will give up the lead, but at someone, somewhere in this field is going to come take tires. It wouldn't shock me if Harvick pulls the group down, and if he does that, will a group stay out and try to get track position? We could have a split decision here. Let's see what everybody decides.
Steve, one thing we've seen is 2 tires has not been very good today.
pulled them all to pit road, Dave.
Team Penske calling out the code orders. We'll see what the 2 and the 22 do. Both drivers were pretty happy with their car. Keselowski way better than last time. Remember, he didn't like the set of tires he had. So they'll both take on 4, Parker.
Kevin Harvick pits out lead, says he just needs to be a touch tighter in that 4 car for the long run here. Put 4 Goodyear tires, fill it full of Sunoco fuel for Kevin Harvick, 14.
I thought we might have some stay out, Rick, but the entire field comes down pit road. An important race off pit road. Looks like Joey Logano, maybe?
Logano edges out. Kevin Harvick right there at the line. So Logano gains a spot. Harvick lose one coming off of pit road. NASCAR Cup Series playoffs on NBC. Telecast presented by Coca-Cola. Coming up right after the race, NASCAR American Post-Race Show. Krista, Kyle, and DJ break down everything that has taken place here this afternoon from Kansas Speedway. That will be on NBCSN, so make sure to tune into that. They'll be looking forward to Texas as well and what some drivers will have to do for the second race of the playoffs. For a few more updates, let's go to Marty.
Hey, Rick, since Denny Hamlin won stage 2, a lot has happened to the 11 car. He hit the wall. They went down a lap. He was able to take a wave around. They came down pit road. They're finally back in sequence with everyone else, restarting 21st. The driver who has led 58 laps today is back in the ball game, as his crew chief Chris Gabehart just told him, Parker.
And Marty, these restarts have been crazy today because of the colder temperatures. These drivers are able to stay flat out for laps at a time, but with that comes a lot of risk because these drivers have to take risks to get positions and not get on the throttle. I had one driver tell me, his team, I lifted there. Why did he tell them that? Because he lost 3 spots in that corner alone. You cannot lift, and as we get later in this race, I expect these drivers to take more risks than ever trying to keep that track position.
Speaking of losing spots on pit road, the 2 of Brad Keselowski lost a spot. Listening to the radio.
I slid through the side there a little bit, kind of got him out of sequence. So we'll all work on it together here.
Before you want me further back, I'll do that for sure.
Slid them down a little bit, but we can do better too.
You're right there. I mean, what do you say, right? I mean, at this point, you know it's important, but crew chief still supported him, said, hey, we could still do better. Brad admits that he could have improved it. The crew backs him up, but now it's down to the restart, guys, with 43 to go. We saw the choose rule. Everybody chose what lane they want to be in. We'll see what they can do here on this restart. 43 to go.
Logano has chosen that outside line. Harvick on the inside for this restart. Back up through the gears they go. Only 42 laps remaining. And this is the first race of the round of 8.
Harvick's doing a good job staying right there. The 12 gets the 22, a little upset. Harvick's still side by side.
He has no help from behind, though. That outside lane has big momentum.
'22 surging ahead now.
Man, the 12 bobbling through the corner. Getting down on that side of the 4 car, really taking a lot of speed out of Kevin Harvick down the front straightaway.
And nowhere for Kevin Harvick to go. That outside lane has gotten filled up. There's no hole for him to go into. He's going to have to make this work.
Oh, we got cars in the wall in turns 1 and 2. It's like Jimmy
Johnson is one of them. There was a car in front of him that also had gotten into the wall.
37. Yeah, the 37.
Coming to pit road.
Ryan Preece. There he is with the damage.
Yeah, Ryan Preece was involved in an accident earlier this year here at this racetrack, a big hit, so not as violent this time, but the 48 going to have to come to pit road.
Harvick still working hard on the side of that 12 car to clear.
Huge side draft into 1 right there. That's what got him clear of Blaney. That was a great move. Now on attack to Logano.
Alex Bowman in that 88, still running up in the top 5.
What do we know about Joey, though? He's going to be aggressive to keep this lead. He's going to go wherever he has to go on the racetrack to try to block this 4 car. Any kind of run and momentum that Harvick might have. See Harvick trying to fake left and right.
It's fair to say Logano is the biggest blocker in the series. Yeah, he is going to take every chance to take the air away from that 4 car and any momentum.
Are you saying Logano's a bigger blocker than Ryan Newman?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Newman doesn't really block. He just races the heck out of you. Joey will go where he'll drive out of that mirror, hit probably 3/4 of this lap. Something like you might do at Daytona or Talladega. Watching where the runs are coming from behind you. Plus, he has a spotter. TJ Major's one of the best at telling him exactly what that 4 car's doing.
Big run here. What will he do with it? He fakes inside. The 22 goes down there. He stays up in the middle.
Again, guys, we talked about it on the earlier restarts where Kevin Harvick had clean air. That was an advantage to his car. His car isn't good on long runs. Now he doesn't have that advantage. Now he's working the tires way harder than he was before.
Listen to the spotter, TJ Majors.
1 a lane higher, 1.5, lane and a half higher. Back. Building is run again now. It's not as good as last lap. 1.5, 1/2. Swinging higher, 2 back, lane higher. Have a little more momentum from the high side, but he's 3 back this time instead of 2. He's 2 back now. 1 back, 1 back, a lane higher only, drifting up a lane and a half higher, 2 back, 2 back, 2.5.
He's telling Joey basically everything he needs to know about that 4 car. And watch Joey come out the corner, not even use the whole racetrack.
3 back, that's money, 2.5. He's going to be a little closer on the entry, 1 back, a little closer this time than before. Half, swinging higher, 1.5, 2 back. 3rd lane, 3 back, 3rd lane.
You can see what happens to Harvick's car when he catches Joey on the entrance of the corner. Harvick loses his car. It's right there. That's where Harvick has issues.
This is pretty good here as far as Harvick's throttle through the corner. He's going to have a good run right here.
Now, half now, half now. In line, swinging up now, 1 back, 2 back, lane higher.
And Harvick barely ever getting out of the throttle.
I like this higher commitment to the entry for Harvick. I think that helps him down the straightaway. I know he gives up a little bit more racetrack in length, but he gets bigger runs, which is what's going to produce the opportunity to make the pass on Joey if Joey makes a mistake on exit. Harvick doesn't quite commit to the higher entry into turn 1, and he goes through a series of bumps as well to make the car tight.
As we rode on board with that battle, look who's joined the fray. The 2 of Brad Keselowski has worked past the 88 and the 12 of Blaney. The 2 car has good speed. We'll see if it's enough to join this battle. He can run both the bottom and the top.
See how high the 4 goes into turn 3. That really creates great speed down the straightaway. Almost got an opportunity to make a pass here.
Closing the
Swinging
gap
up,
again.
swinging up. 1 back, a lane higher, 2 back, a lane higher.
Remember, a ticket to Phoenix is on the line. You win here, you advance to the championship 4 automatically. You have 2 weeks to prepare for that championship race.
We talked about Kevin Harvick and the stress that it's putting on the tires, but I'd say the same with the 22. Right, how he runs this racetrack and trying to block Kevin Harvick really low on corner exits. All those things are putting pressure on the tires, Dave.
As Harvick continues to peek around Logano, Keselowski is catching these 2, tries to move in the 2 car. Talking with his crew chief, Jeremy Bowens, this morning, he spoke of the right side tire change that was made this weekend, as now Keselowski's going to challenge the 4 of Harvick. It took away a little bit of an advantage they felt like they had here in July when they finished 2nd, but we've been adapting. It sure looks like it.
This will be interesting right here. If the 2 car can make the pass on the 4, he can't do it. I feel like that 2 car is the 4 car's toughest nemesis right now in pace. I know the 22's leading this race, but I think that 4 car's faster than the 22. I believe if the 2 of Keselowski could clear Harvick, he might be able to maintain the lead and win this race.
And I wonder if Harvick getting away from the 22 just a little bit to where he can get some forward momentum, if he can't find a way to make that work for him. He was kind of stuck in that spot.
Lap traffic here for these guys.
So now he's further behind. So can he use that? Can he find a way to use that to an advantage?
I think this lap traffic might create some challenges because you've got to go wherever the leader is, and if you're Harvick, but that's typically where the lap traffic's going to be. It makes it more challenging. Not only is Harvick trying to get clean air, but now he's having to negotiate moving chicanes on the racetrack.
Guys, when you're Kevin Harvick, obviously you want to make Phoenix, but look at the two he's battling. Joey Logano won the Phoenix race in the spring. Brad Keselowski won the last group of short track races we had at Richmond. So these guys, when they go to that style of racing, have to be the favorites, as now Harvick looks inside Logano off turn 2.
Lap traffic right ahead of him.
How will that come into play? They go by the 66 of Timmy Hill.
So Joey Logano just saw Kevin Harvick work the bottom, and how that worked for Kevin Harvick. That was good. Really was good for Kevin Harvick. Logano said, not going to give you that again. He's going to go back to the bottom to take that from him.
Another big run here. Now only 27 laps to go.
See, if you're Harvick right now, you saw Logano, he went to the middle, right? I think you have to try the bottom. Some point in 1 and 2, just run that thing all the way to the white line. Try to surprise Joey. Need to do it with forward momentum, though. Fake to the top and go to the bottom. Right now, jump to the right. Make Joey think you're going to go to the top, then go to the bottom. That's it. I love the move.
All the way to the bottom. And can he stay there? Can he stay right on the bumper?
Didn't work, but that was the right thing for Harvick to try.
These two putting on a great show here. Logano out front. Harvick running second. Pulling away just a bit now from Brad Keselowski. A little bit of a draft there from the 00 of Quinn Houff. And another run by the 4. Harvick, the winningest driver in NASCAR in 2020. Running second as we go NASCAR nonstop.
I'm a Verizon engineer, and today we're turning on 5G across the country with a coverage of 5G nationwide. And in more and more cities, the unprecedented performance of ultra-wideband, the fastest 5G in the world. It will change your phone and how businesses do everything. I'm proud because we didn't build it the easy way. We built it right. This is the 5G America's been waiting for, only from Verizon.
Get a dozen Double Crunch shrimp for $1 with any steak entree, only at Applebee's.
Daddy, what's that big moving house thing?
It's a motorhome, Junior. Modern invention.
Modern invention? We carried our homes with us since, like, forever.
Yeah, but humans have Geico to protect them. Something goes wrong, they're covered. What do we have?
What could go wrong? Ooh, a feather.
A feather. Duck, Junior!
That's no duck, Daddy. That's a vulture!
Geico for RVs. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
The day the world stopped was the day we found where to go. From now on, we're not going to leave anything on our plates. Because we've learned to savor the moments that were always there. And they never tasted this good.
A little happy dance.
Get it. Get it.
Garlic butter bacon burger. Garlic butter bacon burger. Junior garlic butter bacon burger.
Junior garlic butter bacon burger.
Get it. Get it.
Coming up on 20 laps to go, this battle is heating up. If it can get any hotter. Right now, Joey Logano up front. Kevin Harvick running second. Lap traffic coming into play every single lap.
Joey continuing to block. The entrance to turn 1 is where Harvick has his issue.
Oh, this lap
underneath
traffic.
the lap car. It's going to slow him down.
The 4's got a big run down the back straightaway. Will he get there?
Here he goes to the high side. Once again, keeping the momentum up. Logano right in the middle of the racetrack.
Good run right here by Harvick. He's got a good shot right here. No, it stalled out.
Seems like those good runs, Jeff, at some point you push the car in front of you, right? Your momentum turns into momentum for him.
Oh, Logano to the top, Harvick to the bottom.
Logano trying to take his line away up top. Harvick goes down low, and they keep the same distance.
They're going to lap Jimmy Johnson here, and then there's not another lap car for about a half a straightaway. Joey can just concentrate on where he needs to go to keep the air off of that 4 car. They're going to get down there and get away, break the draft.
I wonder if Joey Logano has looked out of the front windshield at all. I mean, he is blocked. He's done a great job.
The point situation for Joey isn't all that great if he doesn't win this race. This will be a huge swing for him.
And remember,
to lock himself in.
Yeah, Joey Logano hasn't won since before the pandemic. He won a couple races early on and then hasn't been able to get to victory lane. So this would be huge momentum if he could make it to the championship 4 out of this race right here.
I think the lap, now they've caught 4 cars that they're going to have to lap, and I believe that could determine or create the opportunity for Harvick.
Harvick figured out something that time in 3 and 4. He's not going to be able to do it this time because of the lap traffic.
The pace between the 2 cars is shifting a little bit more toward Harvick. Joey's starting to struggle a little bit.
Remember earlier in this race when Harvick was falling off on the long runs? Well, right now it doesn't look like he's falling off at all.
Alex Bowman has gotten into 3rd place around Brad Keselowski. That 88 car.
Top 5 all playoff drivers. Logano, Harvick, Bowman, Keselowski, and Elliott. Logano doing everything he can to stay in front of the 4. 15 laps to go.
Not a great corner for Harvick there. Seeing a little weakness in the 4 car. All this traffic in front of him. This is the dirtiest the air's been for Harvick for quite some time. And it looks like it's creating a bit of a gap between him and the leader.
Yeah, I've been worried about Harvick in these tires. He's stressed them out big time in that wake of the 22 car this entire run.
Another half a straightaway to the next batch of lap traffic for the leader, Joey Logano.
Right, typically Harvick's been able to run Logano back down in this situation. Let's see if he can do it now. This will be the gauge if Harvick's hurt his tires or not.
Harvick using the momentum up high once again.
Doesn't look like Joey can get all the way to the bottom of the racetrack. I don't know if he's wanting to run that middle groove on purpose or not, but seems like he's losing a little bit of front grip in his car.
With this aero package, the field just doesn't string out. You know, we've been watching this battle between Logano and Harvick, but you see the 88 right behind him, 5 or 10 car lengths. Then Brad Keselowski, you see Chase Elliott. They're all right there.
Harvick catches a lap car here in a bad position off turn 4.
Yeah, lap traffic has played a role in this race, and I think it's going to continue to.
Well, and remember, the lead was won on pit road. Joey Logano's team got him out first. He got to control the restart. Now, he got a great restart, and he kept the lead, but the pass for the lead was on pit road.
Yeah, Harvick's had the best pit crew during the regular season, but only 9th best in the playoffs. Came in leading and went out 2nd.
Another half a straightaway to a single lap car of Clint Boyer in front of the leader.
When we were listening to TJ Majors earlier, he was talking about 3 car lengths, 2 car lengths, a car length, half a car length. Well, now you're looking at 6, 7 car lengths separating the 22 and the 4.
And right now, the 4 is not able to run the 22 back down.
That was a pretty decent corner right there for the 4 car, the 22 on the bottom of the racetrack. 4 car up high.
Now you see he's out of the throttle a little bit. You guys mentioned it, 32 laps on the tires. Handling starting to come into play a little bit here.
Yeah, he's good run right there, though.
He's closing the gap.
When there's not any lap traffic, he's putting the corners together. Oh, he bounces through those bumps.
Logano's car starting to move around a lot, though. Look at it. It's starting to shake. Back of the car is starting to move around.
Kevin's got a few nicknames, and one of them is the closer. Can he do it? Can he close it out here?
The last lap, Harvick a 1/10 of a second better. Looks like he continues to gain on Joey Logano. A big run here off turn 4. Another faster lap for Harvick.
These last 2 laps have been big for Harvick. Harvick going to the top, going to enter higher this time.
Joey's going to go up there and try to take that air away. See how much it hurts Harvick? How Joey's able to drive away? Joey just has to guess. Joey just has to guess correctly where Harvick's going to go.
Joey likes the bottom in 3 and 4. He's been there pretty much the whole day. Not really the bottom, but kind of the second lane. I think now is a good chance for Harvick to do something different. Good positive momentum right here. Showing something different. Go to the top now. Go to the white line. There you go.
8 laps to go.
Oh, just got too tight right there.
Look how much he had to lift. That is what dirty air does.
All right, now go back to work. You got to do it all again.
4 here.
I love the effort, though. I like the game plan of Harvick.
Was he setting him up? Was he maybe faking for a move later?
Well, we're going to find out.
Yeah, no, he was trying to set him up for the pass. Since it didn't work, now he's going to try to, as Jeff mentioned, gain back to the rear bumper again. You have to be within passing distance, Jeff. You know, you can't pass from this far back. You got to inch your way closer.
Look at Joey. Like going down the back straightaway at Talladega trying to lose the draft. Oh, Harvick, good corner right here. Good
Big
corner.
run. Big run for Harvick.
Don't let him cross you over and take the air away from you. You can help it. I know you are. Do all you can do here.
Now this time Harvick will stay at the top, I think. Yep, there you go. It didn't work when he went to the bottom, so commit to the top.
Oh, he is committed. This is going to put him in the best position he's been in all day. Joey pushes Joey away.
Joey knowing Kevin's going to go to the top, so he went to the top.
All this is letting Alex Bowman slowly catch these guys.
Yeah, he was back a little over a second behind them, and now he's closed into a half a second behind Kevin Harvick.
Joey Logano's done everything right.
He has. He's got 5 more laps to keep on guessing correctly on where that 4 car is going to run.
Kevin Harvick's done everything he can to try to get by the 22. He's coming up on 4 laps to go. Again, a spot in the championship 4 on the line.
There's a few lap cars in front of him, not a lot. Ty Dillon's the next lap car in front of this 22.
Here comes Bowman.
Yeah, Harvick's going to have to make something happen quickly. Logano got out on him pretty good these last 2 laps.
Look at the run Bowman's having.
You just wonder if it's just been too much on the tires for Harvick.
Bowman following Harvick into the turn there. Logano trying to stretch it out. That lap traffic. Ty Dillon in the 13.
Harvick trying to get a draft off that 13 car. Bowman took the shorter way around the corner, around the front straightaway.
Under 3 laps to go.
That little bit of a coming up off of turn 4 inside of that lap car cost Logano quite a bit of speed. It's allowed this 4 car to get right back to him.
A little tough for Harvick right here. He didn't have to worry about anybody before. He could just race his race. But now he's got Bowman behind him. A mistake could make him lose the spot.
He's closed the gap though. Now he's back to the back bumper of the 22.
You can do it.
I'm trying. You know how hard he's working in there.
Joey's catching another lap car here on corner exit.
Where will he go? The lap car goes all the way to the bottom of the track. Clears out of the way. Big run now for Harvick.
Oh, he blocks Harvick again. Harvick has to lift off turn 4. He's very tight.
Almost into the wall. 1 lap to go. Presented by Credit One Bank. Did Logano get out too far? Can Harvick reel him back in? To the bottom of the racetrack he goes through 1 and 2.
Logano's going to have a great run down the back straightaway. 2 lap cars here in front of him. He's going to have to contend with. Where does he go?
Harvick stays up high. Also lap traffic in front of him. Through 3 and 4 for the final time. Joey Logano's going to win again in 2020. This time, Kansas.
Oh, yeah!
And he is secured. the championship 4 again.
The first ticket to the championship 4, the driver that won Phoenix in the spring, Rick. Won at Phoenix already this year. Another win at Phoenix would be a championship for Joey Logano.
Joey Logano, already a champion, won the 2018 championship, and now you see the team celebrating. What a battle he had with Kevin Harvick.
That was a great race. That was just two guys throwing it all out there.
I admire the commitment and effort by Joey Logano to take on one of the best and do everything he had to do and stay focused, not give up on himself, on his car. He knew he didn't have the speed that the 4 car had, but he did everything right.
Great job by the driver. Great job by the pit crew, getting their driver that lead position, control of the restart. Logano knows how to do a burnout. Man, that looks good.
He is having fun. He now has 2 weeks. Of course, he'll race in Texas. He'll race in Martinsville. But he's locked into the championship 4. Their focus can now go to Phoenix. What a run by Joey Logano, doing everything to keep the 4 of Kevin Harvick behind him. It worked. He gets out of the car to celebrate with the fans here in Kansas. Joey Logano's foundation helped Heroes Night Out, the COVID first responders, earlier this year. And now he's going to celebrate the shot at another championship. Marty.
Rick, you can tell what a ticket to the championship 4 means, a celebration for Joey Logano, who picked a great day to have a great day. First win since the pandemic. You picked a good time to do it. But walk me through those last 40 laps and the battle, heads up with Kevin Harvick every lap, Joey.
You got to want it, man. This is what an amazing team this Shell Pennzoil team is. We, oh my goodness, I'm wore out. There was more time in the mirror than I was in the windshield there. But pit stops put us in position, got us the lead, and the 4's fast. He was real fast, especially down the straightaways. He was really fast on those straightaways, and I thought if I can hold him off the first 15 laps, I have a chance. And actually, dirty air was the best for us. As we caught lap traffic, I was able to gap ourselves as he got more dirty air, and I was able to draft somebody, so I was a little slow down the straightaway. But man, I'm exhausted after that. But we're going to Phoenix. We're racing for a championship again. Heck yeah.
How much of that was on your mind as you're battling Kevin every lap, that this was your shot to make it to Phoenix?
Yeah, it's on your mind every lap. You know, you come into this race knowing if you could win this thing, you got an amazing advantage. The same thing happened to us in 2018 when we raced for the win at Martinsville, knowing that we have 2 races just to battle for nothing but the championship. So I can't believe it, man, especially the way the beginning of the race was going. We're running back there and not scoring stage points, running around 10th, and good strategy by Paul. Like I said, great pit stops. And this Shell Pennzoil Mustangs race for a championship in Phoenix.
Welcome to the championship 4. Joey Logano gets the win at Kansas in front of these fans, Parker, and going to celebrate this one all the way to Phoenix.
Right, Marty, and the guy he held off was Kevin Harvick in that awesome battle there towards the end of the race. What more did you need to be able to get by Joe Logano?
We just, needed to get off of pit road first. It came down to controlling that restart, and we lost the lead there on the restart and wound up, trying to battle. Didn't get the lead on the restart, but just really, really fast Jimmy John's Ford Mustang. All our guys did a great job. We had a fast car and just moved all over the racetrack, and we weren't the best behind somebody, but I had a lot of options as they made the car better towards the end of the race. So good run for us. Just wish we could have won, but one short.
Joey just said in his interview there that he watched the mirror more than the actual road ahead of him. We saw you trying to almost trick him at times. Is that what you were trying to do, going low? And do you think there was more opportunities maybe to go low if you'd found that earlier?
I was a little bit tighter low. I needed the lap cars to time out well, but yeah, Joey's a good blocker.
Well, that sums it up. Joey was able to hold him off with those great blocks.
He put a period on that statement too, wasn't it? Joey's a good blocker. And it paid off. Joey Logano now has a shot at the championship. He's the first one to solidify his position in the championship four, and you see the excitement not only by driver but team as well. They'll be fighting for the 2020 championship now with this win here at Kansas Speedway. What a battle it was between Joey Logano and Kevin Harvick. Harvick ends up just a spot short. Logano in victory lane. Logano working his way to victory lane here at Kansas Speedway. I want to take a look at the Coca-Cola winning moment. And Steve, obviously, the race off of pit road got him up front, but then he had to hold off Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, and he did it with some great blocking, great protective driving, moving up and down in the straightaways, and in the end, the spot was on pit road, the driving and the restart by the driver, Joey Logano, a team effort for the 22 car, and then the Phoenix winner from the spring gets to head back to Phoenix in the fall, but this time a championship trophy on the line.
We thought the favorites were going to be Harvick and Hamlin. They've been so good at Phoenix. But Harvick finishes up second in this race as we look at the playoff leaderboard. With that win, Joey Logano, name in yellow, he advances to the championship for Harvick. A 41-point advantage over the cut line. Denny Hamlin 20 points, and then it gets very tight.
Well, Rick, that's what we talked about, right? Harvick and Hamlin with the 2 points favorites. Logano getting that win has squeezed that opportunity for everyone else. Hamlin did lose some points, though, with that brush with the wall, but you see Chase Elliott, Bowman. I even think Truex can get through mathematically, but Kurt Busch is going to have to be thinking win.
Yeah, the engine expiring for Kurt Busch, obviously, that was the biggest hit for any of the playoff drivers. But as I mentioned drivers, let's bring in our drivers. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Burton. What an incredible battle, and I shouldn't say battle, battles that we saw all day long for the lead here at Kansas.
Yeah, a lot of fun racing. That battle between Joey and Kevin, I mean, I'm not sure how long that lasted. It seemed forever, and they just were glued together. And just a great job by both drivers bringing it all. Joey, you heard Kevin say he's a great blocker, and Joey just did everything right. Kevin was right that, you know, them losing that spot on pit road was huge, but give it to Joey Logano, his team. They went and took that spot on pit road, and then Joey kept it by a great job of driving. Just an incredible battle between two incredible drivers.
Yeah, I think Joey might have just punched his ticket into the final round of the playoffs in the only opportunity he had. He didn't have a great car today. He finished in 8th place or 9th place in stage 1, got 2 stage points, did not get any stage points in stage 2. He was behind, trending backwards. With the day that Chase Elliott was having, the day that his teammate Brad Keselowski was having, without a win here today, I think he leaves here worse off than when he came in to this race. So he really punched his ticket at the only time that I can see. I know he could go to Martinsville and probably win. I think it's going to be a slugfest there, and I don't know who's going to come out on top of that particular track, but man, I'm really shocked. I didn't, and you talked about that too, Jeff, the length of that battle between him and Kevin Harvick. I thought Harvick was going to win it. I thought he was going to get around him. He didn't. I couldn't believe it. The mental toughness from that 22 car today really surprised me.
Well, one thing that didn't surprise me was the speed of the playoff cars. They finished 1 through 4. If you want to go to Phoenix for a chance to win the championship, you better be thinking win in this round. I know someone will get in on points, but you better be thinking win because, oh, by the way, those top 4 cars weren't even the 2 cars that won stages. Chase Elliott and Denny Hamlin couldn't finish inside the top 5. So playoff cars dominated the day. There was moments, Rick, where Blaney was fast. There were some times where we thought Byron had some good speed. But when the chips were going to get paid, the playoff cars were in front. I expect the same at Texas and again at Martinsville. It's that time of year, the pressure's here.
Hollywood Casino 400 reference there, I noticed, when the chips were going to get paid. Well, you mentioned the playoff drivers that ended up in the top 4. Alex Bowman was 3rd. He's with Dave.
Well, certainly what I would call a strong day for Alex Bowman, finishing 3rd there. But I know you wanted more at the end, Alex. How come you couldn't get right there?
Yeah, it seemed like we needed a really long run there at the end. We were pretty free all day, and we snugged up and got our Truck Hero Camaro driving a little better, try to stay out of their way, but just really didn't have much right rear grip. So there at the end, just running around wide open, and they finally came back to us enough, but then I just couldn't do anything once I got there. I had kind of burnt the tires off it to try to get there in the first place, so it's a bummer. I messed up coming to 2 to go and cost us any chance that we had, but it's still a really good day for us. Thanks to everybody at Hendrick Motorsports. Back at the shop, all the road guys, everybody's working so hard right now. The engine shop's hustling, and we're building great Camaros, just a little bit short today.
A little bit of a points climb from here now for you in the round of 8, but another 1.5 miles next week. So does this day give you encouragement for Texas?
I don't even want to look on that. Yeah, we're still, we're further out than we were when we got here. Yeah, it's going to be so hard. We have to be perfect each and every week, and we weren't quite perfect today. So, you know, we can do it for sure. I think we have a great shot at going and winning Texas, but without a win, it's going to be pretty tough.
Alex Bowman, strong showing today.
That win by Logano is the reason that Alex Bowman's a little bit further back, even though he finished 3rd in this race. A reminder, coming up next on NBCSN, at the top of the hour will be the NASCAR America post-race show. Krista, Kyle, and DJ will be there with more playoff interviews. Joey Logano will have to go back and get the checkered flag that he left at the start-finish line. He threw it on top of his car and then drove off without it. So I'm sure somebody's telling him about that. There it is, still sitting right there.
Such a dad thing to do.
By the finish line, is that what it is?
Yeah.
It's the dad thing to do. All right, let's see if there was a virtual high five between Rutledge and Bernard.
Oh, Rick, I tell you what, this was so much fun to get to do this. Bernard Pollard Jr., I appreciate you spending the day with me. I know you're going to be watching it at home, but to watch with you, the questions you asked, it was so much fun. Did you think that Joey was going to be able to hold Kevin off?
So I got to be honest, and we talked about it. I didn't think he would be able to hold him off, but it was exciting for me to be able to see just the competition once again, as I talked about, to see him hold him off, to use the lap traffic. I was excited because as we talked about before, everybody always got something to say about Logano, but I was excited to see him finally freaking win. For me, I didn't know anything about before Corona, but now this dude won. I'm excited for that one.
And people can get a chance to get on iRacing, go race with you. You were new to it this year. Is that you on your T-shirt, iRacing, right there?
Yeah. So I'm the Black Dale Jr., you know, so I didn't say anything to Dale.
Oh.
You know, congratulations on the baby. So, you know, I'm not trying to make any, start any arguments or anything else, but, you know, I am the Black Dale on iRacing out there trying to make it happen.
This is awesome. Bernard Pollard Jr., thanks for hanging with me today. Guys, this guy is so much fun. I loved watching the race with him. This is incredible, Rick.
And a smile on his face. Dale Jr., pretty good guy there to be emulating you, right?
He's got a long way to go in iRacing, but we'll give him all the help we can.
The guy with the microphone last, Rick. The guy with the microphone last always wins.
There's that unbelievable honesty right there coming through. But we are appreciative that Bernard Pollard Jr. joined us on the broadcast today. Quite a bit of fun. Big smiles, as I mentioned, from Bernard, well, also from Joey Logano, who has now locked up that spot in the championship 4. Even though the Clint Boyer fans were showing their appreciation here, Clint Boyer coming home with an impressive finish here at Kansas as well. More post-race coverage coming up on NBCSN. Next on NBC, that's going to be your local news, except on the West Coast. And later, it's football night in America, followed by the Rams 49ers on Sunday Night Football. Congratulations, Joey Logano. You're on to the championship 4. And now from Kansas Speedway, we go to the Charlotte NBC Sports Studios, and Krista, Kyle, and DJ.
Thank you, Rick. Welcome into the NASCAR America post-race show. What a day for Joey Logano. He was the only playoff driver who didn't score points after stage 2. That means 7 did, only 1 did not, but that 1 is the one who goes on to win the race. And as the guy said, he now knows he's racing for a championship. Let's bring in Kyle Petty and Dale Jarrett. And as we said, drivers to watch for. Kyle, you said Joey was your guy. This kind of reminds me, watching him and Kevin Harvick battle, reminds me how the Chiefs and Bills game tomorrow night is going to be both at 4-1. As athletes, football players or a race car driver, don't you want to perform when everyone sort of counts you out?
Yeah, and at the end of each quarter, I'm going to come on and tell you how much I know about football. So let me go ahead and say that, because I know nothing about football. Why would you bring up a reference like that? Anyhow, here's my point. When I said, and I said this morning on pre-race, or I said earlier today on pre-race, this was a big day. This was a big day for Paul and for Joey. They had to perform here. If they could perform here, they could go to Phoenix and win the championship. And I think they showed today that they can overcome. As you said, no points in stage 2. They kept working, they got themselves in a position. And contrary to what the world believes, the fastest car doesn't win every race. It's strategy, it's pit work, it's a team sport. They put Joey in position to win. He drove the wheels off that thing, and he kept Kevin behind him, and Kevin's one of the greatest drivers this sport has ever seen. So tip of the hat to this team for moving on to Phoenix.
Yeah, and you say team. It was team effort. You heard Joey Logano talking about his pit crew and what a great job they did of getting him out, putting him in control of the race there on that last restart, and that was exactly what he needed. They did a great job of working on this car and getting it a lot better for Joey throughout the day, because they certainly didn't have the longer run speed that they were needing. It seemed they had speed early on, but that would go away after what looked like 20 couple laps. But they needed a car that Joey could stay wide open, be out front, do everything that he did. And what he did was, yeah, you could call it blocking, but it was more just taking the air away from Kevin Harvick and not giving him the advantage that he needed there. So really outstanding driving. That is so hard. It might look easy to be out front there, but to run wide open basically around there and make all the right moves and catch the traffic and anticipate that and do all the right things. So congratulations to Joey. That was a job well done.
We saw Joey celebrating there at the track. Look, he's already celebrating with his fans, getting a post out on social media saying we're going to the championship 4. No question, Joey Logano has been there before. He has won it all before, trying to do the same. Someone else who has won a championship and looks to maybe grab a seat at the table is his teammate, Brad Keselowski. Let's hear from him.
So for Brad Keselowski, a 4th place finish puts you 8 above the cut line. Brad, how would you describe today at Kansas?
It's really solid. You know, this was here in Texas where 2 tracks we're a little nervous about, and really fast all day. Just didn't quite have enough there at the end. I feel like if we'd had the lead, we could have won, but just wasn't in the cards.
Yeah, that one set of tires that didn't agree with you. Other than that, the 2 was pretty much the equal of the cars up front, except for that track position.
Yeah, that last 2 stops there, I just lost a little bit, and you know, all in all, really solid. And we keep running like that, we'll get a win, and we'll move on to Phoenix. Thanks, Dave.
Well, a stage win, but a 15th place finish for Denny Hamlin, and obviously the contact with the wall is what really changed the day. At that point, Denny, how much of the dynamic of your afternoon really flipped?
Yeah, it obviously damaged the car, and you can't, on these tracks, you can't have any damage on the car, but I think, you know, actually kind of fortunate to get a couple cautions there to get back on the lead lap, and that's as far as I could go with the damage that I had. Just it hurt the car so bad. So top, you know, 15th with that damage, yeah, it's the best we could probably hope for, but still definitely had a race-winning car today. Just drove it in the fence.
Plus 20 going to Texas and Martinsville. Both tracks you've won at before, obviously. Very good racetracks for you and the 11 team. How do you assess that moving forward, Denny?
Well, we can win every week. I mean, every week we're up front. So I think we can win next week. We can win the week after that, and we can win the week after that. So not too worried about having to go out there and win, because I know we can do it.
All right, Denny Hamlin winds up 15th here at Kansas today.
So taking a look at those points, yeah, Denny Hamlin loses a little ground because he was 32 up coming into this race, but he's still in contention, and like he said, Dale, no question he has the team and the race car to do it. But I mean, you can't have mistakes, you can't have bad days, not when the field is this good all the way through.
Yeah, no, you really can't. I mean, they're, you know, every weekend they do bring great race cars, and they do have the opportunity to win. But when you have that car that showed that you could be out front and be dominant, and you could have been the one moving on, and you make a mistake as a driver, you know, that gets to you a little bit. And these are the type things that we've talked about, Denny, over the years when we get into this year or this time of year to try to win a championship. These things are what keeps him from getting that championship that he's really wanting. But they're still right there. A lot of work to do, but they gave themselves even more work to do. But it's interesting that besides Joey Logano, obviously he is moving on. home, but every one of the other 7 drivers lost points to the cut line versus where they started the day. So nobody really improved themselves except Kevin Harvick. Even though he finished second, he still has a big points cushion there, but everybody else is worse off than they started the day, KP.
Which is fascinating because I thought Alex Bowman had a great day today. Had a great stages, great first stage and second stage, and you look at it. But back to Denny, and I'm going to say this. I like what I hear. I don't like what I see. And I said it in the first stage or the first round of the playoffs. He made mistakes, or the team made mistakes in all 3 races. Now he's made a mistake in this race that has cost him points. You can't win a championship if you continue to make mistakes on a regular basis. And so far in the playoffs, that's 4 of the races that we've run haven't been mistakes by the driver, by the team, for whatever. And that goodwill that he'd built up during the course of the year, and when I say goodwill, I mean those points, are slowly leaking down the drain. He's got to stop this the next 2 weeks to be able to move on to Phoenix.
Yeah, the money's starting to exit the bank for Denny Hamlin. So let's hear from the other Toyota driver, his teammate, Martin Truex Jr.
Martin Truex Jr. finishes 9th after starting at the back. You drove through the field really quickly, and then it's like you stalled out a little bit right there at the back of the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's because that's about all we had. We were 8th in both stages and then 9th at the end. So, we didn't really have much more than that. If we could have got some track position at times, the really long runs, we were strong. All restarts were really tough to fend people off, and we just didn't quite have the short run speed. So missed it a little bit there with it being so cool out today, I guess, and just didn't have what we'd hoped to have. But proud of everybody on this 19 team, and thanks to everybody at Bass Pro and Toyota, and we'll do what we do. We just keep fighting. Today's over. It wasn't a terrible day by any means, but not what we needed to to get to the Final Four. So try to pick it up for Texas next week, and Martinsville should be good too.
Talk to me about Texas and Martinsville. You're 31 points out. 2 places that are good to you, but what's the confidence level of going up there and winning one of these if you aren't able to get in on points?
Yeah, it's high. I know we can do it. It's just a matter of hitting it right, really. We've not hitting it right in a while. Good enough to win at least. We've been close. We've been second, third, fourth. A lot of times, and today 9th is unacceptable for us, but. That's the way it goes, and that's racing. This stuff's hard, so we'll go back to work, and I know we can win one of the next 2. We just got to hit it right. So pray for that.
And not get hit by that car.
And make it to the racetrack next week would be a start.
Martin Truex Jr., this 19 team, just feeling like they need to execute a little better to get the championship.
Yeah, good sense of humor there, but Kyle, what he said is 9th is unacceptable. This is after they had to start all the way in the back, so they did make up ground, but what do you think about Martin's day?
Yeah, 9th is unacceptable. When there's only 8 guys in the playoffs trying to move for 4 positions, 9th is unacceptable at this level. But what I do like, and we'll hear it from Joey, we'll hear it from Kevin Harvick, or we heard it from Kevin Harvick, we heard it from Denny Hamlin, is we can go and win the next 2 races. And they truly believe that. That's how you get to be in that group of 8. That's how you get to the opportunity to run for a championship. Believing in yourself, believing in that team, and believing that you can be better next week. That's what makes all of these guys champions, or the potential to be a champion. And I like what he says. We just stalled out. Listen. And we see it every week in the Xfinity Series and the Truck Series and the Cup Series. When these top teams start at the back, they're going to click off 20 or 21 places right off the bat. We shouldn't drop our jaws and say, that's amazing. I can't believe that guy drove from the back all the way up to 18th or 19th. He should do that with his eyes closed because he drives for Joe Gibbs Racing, and they're better than those back 20 cars. Sorry, just a fact of life. So I think when you look at it, Martin was realistic. 9th, 8th, that's as far as we could go. We couldn't go any farther, and that's unacceptable to be in the championship rounds.
Yeah, for a driver and a team that we thought was the mile-and-a-half specialist for a long time, this year hasn't been that for them. They've been in the hunt and in the mix, but really haven't at any time really felt like that they were the dominant car at a mile-and-a-half track. So next week we go to a mile-and-a-half track again. It's going to be with this same tire. And I think that looking ahead, that if I look at Martin Truex, he's got a lot of points to make up against very good competition. That's the biggest problem. But it looks like Martinsville might be his ticket to try to get himself into the championship four because he, for a guy that went a long time and didn't win any short tracks, he has become well, he's always been an outstanding short track racer, but he's got things figured out now. So that might be his best shot because I really think that the Fords and Denny Hamlin are probably going to have the fastest cars next weekend once again. So they've got to pick it up. They know where they stand and what they need to do.
Well, here is what you at home don't know. I yelled, "That's amazing," when Martin Truex drove up through the field and Kyle threw a football at me here in our NBC studios. We're going to try to check in, by the way, with Bernard and Rutledge. Speaking of football, coming up later in the post-race show, we'll be with you until 6:30, the bottom of the hour. Joey Logano celebrating after becoming a 3-time Kansas winner. He moves on to the championship four. More to come. Get in gear during the playoffs. Check out the greatest selection of T-shirts, hats, die-casts, and much more for all your favorite drivers. Visit NASCAR.com/shop. Maybe your favorite driver is Joey Logano, today's winner. He knows he's moving on to the Phoenix 4 with the win today. That means Kurt Busch, Martin Truex Jr., Alex Bowman, and Chase Elliott are in the danger zone, not moving on with 2 more races to go in this round. What a day for Chase Elliott. For most of it, he couldn't hear. Let's hear from him now.
Well, what a crazy day for Chase Elliott. It winds up being a 6th-place finish, but I want to talk about all the radio issues all day long. I mean, you must mentally be fried after that race. How bad did it get, and how much of a distraction was that, Chase?
Yeah, it was, it wasn't a massive deal. The good news was they could hear me. I just couldn't hear them once we went green. So, once we kind of had the situation understood, job behind you. Watch out, guys.
Gonna get knocked out by Kevin Harvick here. So there you go.
Once I understood the situation that they could hear me and I just couldn't hear them, that helped obviously. And then from there, just kind of knew what to expect. I, was just trying to pay attention to lap count, and when everybody else was going to start pitting or not. But I don't think ultimately it hindered our performance at all. We had a pretty fast Napa Camaro. Felt like we were fired off well and lost a little track position there in that middle stage, and just tough to get a big chunk of it back in a hurry. So had a bad restart there and fell back too far, and just took me a long time to kind of claw back up through there. So I got 2 more weeks and we'll try to go get them in Texas.
-8 going into Texas. I know that's a racetrack where you guys have struggled in the past, but Martinsville at the end of this round, Chase, how do you assess the next 2 tracks?
I'm looking forward to, both of them, and like I've been saying all week, I feel like, you can't have bad tracks and expect to win a championship. You need to have a shot to win every week, and I believe that. Believe in that a lot. So we'll go to Texas and give it our best shot to go win, and same at Martinsville, and hopefully we're still alive come Phoenix.
What a scrappy day for the 9 team. They wind up 6th.
Yeah, I think scrappy is a good word. And Dale, you talked about the Chevrolet. Actually, both of you guys did. Talked about the Chevrolet drivers and maybe this would be their race or their round, talking about Alex Bowman and Chase Elliott, both with good finishes. Kurt Busch with that engine failure. We know really the Ganassi cars have had engine failures in the playoffs before. So what do you take, Dale, I guess, after hearing the words from Chase?
Yeah, I mean, they're saying the right things, kind of like Kyle was saying there about Denny, that they're talking right. They can win anywhere that they go, but will they? And obviously, there's only 2 races left to win, so all of these guys that are saying they can win anywhere they go, they're not all going to win. So who's going to step up and kind of pull the upset? Because you have to have the idea that Kevin Harvick or Denny Hamlin is going to win at Texas next week. And if you're looking at that, then how do you play the game? What is your strategy going in? I know you go in trying to win each and every time, but just saying that may not happen. What do you do? I'm not sure that they have the speed to keep up with those Fords. Brad Keselowski runs extremely well at Texas too. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play out. They were there in the stages. I mean, Chase won the first one, and so he got a lot of points there, but he still lost points for the day and finds himself sitting outside the cut line at this point in time.
Yeah, honestly, the Chevys were a lot better And listen, I gave it some lip service in pre-race, but they were a lot better than I really thought they were going to be the way it played out, because I really expected the Fords to run up front the way they did. And when I look at it, 300 cars in the top 10, that's a pretty big statement. But I want to go back to Chase and say the Roval. He came off the Roval. He dominated that race. That was his to lose, and he won that thing. We look at today. He ran up there and took the lead away from Kevin Harvick in that first stage and went on to win that first stage. So they seem to be on the right track. And I think Texas and Martinsville and Phoenix play into their wheelhouse as a Chevy team, as a team period, a little bit more than some of the other teams. So I honestly feel if he can make it out of this round, then he has that shot at a championship. But Texas is going to be a big hurdle for this group to see if they can gain some points or at least stop some of the bleeding.
And I think an even scarier situation is if Harvick and Hamlin don't win one of these next two races, because that means one of these other guys is taking a seat at the table. You were just looking at there, Alan Gustafson, Chase Elliott's crew chief, as we now see a shot of Kevin Harvick's car in the garage. Let's hear from the winning crew chief, Paul Wolfe.
Well, Paul Wolfe and I started the day discussing a couple of different topics about Kansas Speedway. One of them was that you felt pretty good about the day coming up. Did you know it was going to be this good?
Well, it was a tough day, really, Dave. We didn't have the speed we were hoping for early on. We were fighting the balance pretty bad. One other thing we did talk about was how good that pit crew is, and with a good pit stop there at the end, and we did the two-tire call there to get some track position back, and our car was reasonable at that point. And then those guys put 4 tires on at the end and got us off pit road first, and that was really the key.
Paul, getting this win now frees you up so much for Phoenix. What does it mean to you?
It's huge. I mean, this is a tough 3 weeks, like I told you, especially with the 4 and the 11 having so many points coming into this, and we were already behind the cut line. So it was going to be tough without scoring a lot of stage points, to do it without winning. Obviously, we were able to do that today. Phoenix, obviously, we won there early this year. We have a lot of confidence in our short track program at Team Penske's been strong. And now it gives us 2 weeks to kind of take a deep breath and really just focus on that car and, what we need to do to go out there and win that championship.
You talk about breath. I was holding mine for that last run there. What was it like watching your driver and how hard he had to work to keep the 4 behind him?
Well, it was tough. I mean, the 4 had a lot of speed, definitely seemed to have more trimmed out speed than what we did. We ran pretty much wide open that whole last run. We knew if we could fight him off for 10 or 15 laps, the hopes was, the 4 would have to start lifting some amount. He did start struggling, and it was enough to get us to victory lane.
I was going to say just enough. Yeah. Great job today by the whole team. And like you said, that pit crew got him that lead coming off pit road. That was huge.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, let's start with that as we discuss. And Kyle, you always talk about, you know Joey well. He's a friend of yours. He's working with Paul Wolfe for the first time in terms of that combination. But they're going to the championship 4, somewhere Joey's been before, and they have so much faith, it seems like, hearing from Paul and Joey on that pit crew that did the job right there.
Yeah, and I said this before, this is a team sport, and you see them, great call, great pit work, got Joey off. And let's go back, Joey, before we went to the break this season, Joey had won 2 races, 2 out of the 4 we'd run. He didn't have the fastest cars necessarily in those races. They just gave him the ball. They gave him the ball and said, run with it. And I think when you look at great athletes and other great sports, they want that ball and they want control of their destiny in pressure situations. Paul Wolfe and that pit crew gave Joey Logano that pressure, that ball, and he made a comment. I can't remember what it was. Dale knows it, and he made a comment the other day about pressure is a privilege, I think is what he said. And he took that pressure and he turned it into something today. And you know what? Now that pressure's off for a couple of weeks. It'll come back when they get to Phoenix, don't get me wrong. But that's what this team is all about, is having faith in each other and giving each other the ball and saying, you do the best you can with it. It's yours now.
Yeah, this is a really good combination. When the Penske organization decided to make some changes within their organization, and they put Paul Wolfe with Joey Logano, I think that Paul Wolfe appreciates what he has with Joey Logano in that he can put him in difficult situations and put 2 tires on when everybody else has 4, but it got him the track position, knowing that his driver can handle that situation. He's going to be ready to go on the restart. He's not going to give up as the car and the tires start to give up just a little bit more, and others have better stuff around him. And that worked to their favor because they got a caution. Then when everybody got 4, they were right where they wanted and needed to be. So when you have a crew chief that understands that he can continuously make changes, not only to the car, but in their strategies, there's a lot that they can get done. And he talked about, hey, they won Phoenix. Kyle just said they might not have had the fastest car that day, but they won the race. He went and kind of willed his way to victory lane once again by taking the line that Kevin Harvick wanted, took that away, and just did everything that he needed to do in the latter stages of this race and won. So when you have a driver and a crew chief that are kind of on the same page with that and okay with each other like that, they know how to get the job done, and they'll certainly be one of the favorites out there whenever they show up in 3 weeks.
Yeah, that was his most recent win, was that Phoenix race you just saw, and that is where the championship will be decided. Don't forget, Joey's matured a lot since his championship. He's now 30 years old, a father of 2. Kyle talked about, he says, give me the ball. We're going to give the ball to Rutledge and Bernard Pollard when we come back. Next Sunday on NBCSN, the round of 8 continues in the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs with another chance to win and clinch a spot in the championship 4 like Joey Logano did today. Race coverage begins at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. What a day in Kansas. So as Joey Logano won those closing laps where you had 3 playoff drivers fighting and battling for the win, and Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, and Alex Bowman. This was Rutledge Wood and Bernard Pollard. Their reaction as they were watching those closing laps. Bernard Pollard, of course, 9-year veteran in the NFL. He was hanging out with Rutledge today. Let's get some thoughts from them, some final thoughts. Hey, Rut.
Hey, Krista. Oh, my gosh, it was so much fun. Bernard, thanks for hanging with us, buddy. What did you think of that race today at Kansas?
I thought it was awesome. And, I mean, just to hear the announcers, the analysts talk about, handing him the ball, to me, it was trust. To hear the spotter, to hear him kind of conveying that message down to the driver, letting him know what was going on. But then, look, go ball. Just go play. And to see Logano complete the race and to win, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was so cool. And I love that you got to share with us some experiences from your career and understanding communication, the things that happen in a NFL game. But let's talk a little bit about this sport brought you in to racing, but you really found iRacing through it. And so many fans have loved getting to see Crush Boy 31, to learn about you, who you are, but then to see you racing, to see you race with your son. It's been an amazing experience. Tell us a little bit about that.
It's been awesome, Rut. I think, for me, I've fallen hard for this sport simply because it's been told to me how blacks weren't invited, how this sport doesn't have certain drivers, how they're not welcoming, and it's just no strategy. You just go left, you just go fast. And I'm looking like everything that I've been told it's been false. I've been welcome. And I get it. Like, I don't want to be stupid. There are some people out there, and it's a small percentage of people that will say and do some stupid stuff. I don't care about that. I have been welcomed by fans. I have been welcomed by drivers and organizations. You guys, I mean, this has been awesome. And to see everything, I love it, to be able to watch it, but then to be able to get on the rig and to race as well against other people that love this sport, that have been following this sport for years. Now I get to get on and actually beat you. Now, I've beaten a lot of people. I've taken my lumps, but I've beaten a lot of people. It's just been awesome for me. And I mean, for my kids, I hate to keep going on, but for my kids, I'm able to offer this to them as an option to say, hey, if you want to become a driver, you can. And they have everything at their grasp to go and do it. And I love it. I love that.
That's so cool, man. All right, 2 quick questions. Number 1, who's your champion pick? Number 2, how many die-casts do you have?
My champion pick, I mean, look, Logano did awesome today. Him, the closer and Denny Hamlin have been dominant all year long. I have to go with the closer, Kevin Harvick. I mean, this guy he's phenomenal. And I mean, to look at the struggles that he had today, to see how he finished, I mean, he was right there. And so to think that that's just going to die off in the next couple of weeks, you'll be crazy to think that. So I'm going to jump on the wagon with everybody else and probably jump on a Harvick wagon and say that Harvick's probably going to end up winning it. So yeah, I'm going with Harvick. As far as diecast, man, I got 10. Now, I didn't change my office around. So no longer do I have a desk in here. I got a rig. I got my table over here with my printer. I put my printer on the ground. I got 10 diecasts. So I got 10 diecasts. I got 4 hats. I got a helmet. I got a Chase Elliott bobblehead. But I got 14 pre-orders for my diecast that's coming in. So look, I'm falling hard, as I've said. I am in this thing, man. I love it. I cannot wait to get to a track.
Buddy, thank you for all the time today. It's been such a treat to hang with you. Krista, I know Kyle will ask later. When Bernard Pollard Jr. says people say some stupid stuff, he's not talking about Kyle and I. He's talking about totally other people.
We appreciate good stuff. That means Bernard Pollard, Kyle, has as many die casts as Rutledge Wood takes tennis shoes to a racetrack for a weekend, correct?
Correct. Correct.
Correct. Final thoughts as we say goodbye. Texas next week. KP?
Listen, I don't expect anything different from Texas that I saw today. It's going to be a close, tight race.
Yeah, same package. It's going to be exciting. 2 and 3 wide at times for sure.
Well, the most direct route to Phoenix runs through these racetracks. Today in Kansas, it was cold weather, but Joey Logano heated things up on the track. As he wins, he knows he will be racing for the championship. Xfinity Series Saturday race coverage begins at 4:30, Sunday at 3:30. Thanks for watching. Coming up next, MotoGP racing.